A bada boom, a bada bing. Here we go. It's time to sing. How you beautiful people doing? I'm only 7 minutes late. 7 minutes earlier, 7 minutes on time. It all depends on the perspective. Which you ask. Oh, jeez. How are you beautiful people doing? If you're watching the stream this early, wow. I'm impressed you clicked the button that quick. If you're watching the VOD, no extra credit for you. No extra credit for you. First person to say anything that I see is going to be exploration. Says meow. Everybody, let's give props for being the first person in the room. First person in the room goes to exploration. Everybody say wow. Exploration, you are what we all hope and aspire to be in life. Meow is correct, Mundo. How are you beautiful people doing? It is Thursday. Wow. I want to apologize for not being here yesterday. Honestly, I got a human ability, and I didn't want to give you guys a bad stream, and I wasn't feeling up to it. I wasn't feeling the best, and I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. But I'm telling you guys, I was working on it. I really got inspired by a really good skit that I want to do. And I don't do skits, right? That's not my thing. I've done a few skits and they've never done well. Like notoriously, every skit funny video I've ever made is always just, it's like this. All my normal videos, then a skit, boom. But I love them, so. I love them, so. Just don't do it like Puma. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? What is the association? What is the association? Do you actually buy the cars? Are you doing it to teach the audience? We can get deals. All are incorrect. I do them for my clients that hire me. I'm about to hire you to do a Ford Explorer ST. These dealers are the worst. Oh, thank you. I mean, you can do it on your own if you feel confident, but I get it. Where were you yesterday? I just answered that question. You need to expand the color scheme of your shirts, gray, blue, and green. You know what? I like my colors. Tommy, have you ever considered LASIK? For like 4 minutes. And then I was like, I like my glasses. Hey, I need your help, community, in a dealer debate video 2 weeks ago. Okay. Anybody can help Alyssa on the Discord thing that she just wrote. That'd be great. That would be awesome. Guy, how long is your wait list right now? Normally 10 to 14 business days before we start your deal, and then it takes about a few days after that. You can't tell if you're 22 or 52. That's because we're somewhere in between. That's how math works. Okay, guys, today, honestly, tomorrow is going to be the debate or the negotiation stream because that's a little bit more flexible. Today is still debate day. It depends on how things are. I will tell you that I don't know how many people are going to want to debate today. People have looked so bad in these debates, so horrible in these debates. Nobody's done well. I'm undefeated, champion of the world. I don't think anybody's going to want to debate me anymore. I think they're all scared of me. I think they're all scared of me. So we're going to do debates today. I'll answer some questions. I already answered the what's opinion undelivered. We already answered that. We already had her. Tommy, can I pay extra to get my deal on live like Billy? No. What? Why? Why? Tommy, exactly how dangerous is McDonald's mascot, the Grimace? Terrifying. Tommy never even lost a round to the truth. Aw, shucks. Your videos help me negotiate myself. I love that, Ben King. Did anybody watch Reckless Ben's new episode on minifigs? Crazy, dude. Crazy. The minifig saga is officially somewhat over. Somewhat over. You ever thought of expanding delivered into the UK market? We're going to expand delivered. Did you get bullied in school? Nah. I was pretty cool in school. And by cool in school, I mean like I was just like one of the people, you know? I was one of the people. Reckless Ben is a hero. No, there are 10 more parts. Are there going to be 10 more parts? I thought you said there was only going to be 10 more parts if they didn't do the chicken dance. Tommy, why are you scared to answer the best SUV for $1,000? I'm not. Give me the minifigs. You want the cliff notes of the minifigs? Dude, that's a whole thing. Your headline says, I argued with a salespeople. Yeah, correct. Want to see a chicken dance? Dude, I don't think they're going to do it. How about Thomas Love as a call-in name for dealers when you don't want to use Tommy? Nah. Damn, I don't know if I had a chance to read and answer my question, but I keep getting jammed with these stupid ads that cut you off. I mean, you could subscribe, but I have the minimum ads on. Like, it's the minimum amount of ads you can have on a verified channel. Just the cliff notes on what Ben said. Ben basically gave all the receipts of everything, all the proof that they're lying. He went through, they're trying to sue him for a million different things. They said it was attempted murder. It was crazy. But he essentially got his voice back and was free. He could do what he wants. YouTube has no ads. I don't turn the YouTube ads on because I don't have to turn on the YouTube ads. But guys, just so you guys know, we are going to do a debate day on debate day. What does debate day mean? Debate day means you can debate me on the debate day. What does that mean? ×2? That means you can literally DM me on the Instagrams. And when you go through the Instagrams, DM me, you can debate me on anything in life. Right? If you're a car salesman, car sales manager, I don't think anybody's going to come up. I think they're all too scared. I honestly think they're all too scared. I'm just too knowledgeable. Have you sent out EA interview emails yet? Yes. I have like 4 more that I haven't done that applied that we're going to go anyway, but we already are in the interview process. We've had 2 days worth of interviews. Great. Or busy making money? I don't think so. Because Ghostface, like right now, you're a hater. I know you're a hater. You could jump on this. But let me guess, you're too busy making money watching this live. No employee today? No employee today. Just how things worked out. We're not having a team member on today. We hopefully go back to that tomorrow. Can we debate you on football? On football or football? So you're not doing more interviews after those 4 people are contacted? I mean, I'm not going to put myself like in a box, right? If all of the people we interview, nobody is the right fit, I'll keep looking. But I feel confident. Dude, I will say, okay, let me give you some debate topics here. I'm going to give some debate topics, and I got some new ones. I got some new ones that I'll let you go through. And these are going to be maybe even a little bit more controversial. First off, I'm going to go through. Just debating if I actually want to do these, but I think I'm going to. Most salespeople, I believe, have a victim complex and believe that the whole world is out to get them, even though they're the problem. That's the debate topic of the day. Number 2, dealerships live 25 years in the past, so much so that the problems that they think are impossible to solve, and you don't get it, would be solved in 1 day if an intelligent person ran their dealership. Number 3, I believe dealerships are not entitled to a profit. They have to earn one. Number 4, I think training is one of the worst things that happens in the industry because they will hire anybody and nobody invests in money in their training. Number 6, I believe dealerships are the problems 9 out of 10 times. Boom, 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 boom. I believe commission should be banned tomorrow. And banning it would be a big step forward. I believe direct to consumer would solve all problems. And what most problems, not all problems. I'll go most. I'll say direct to consumer can solve most problems. What else we're going through? I'm not even rage baiting. I do believe that salespeople really think. Do you at least get to pick the topic of which side that Tommy takes? They're very weak topic. I mean, you can pick whatever topic. I'm just giving you some inspiration. I don't believe buyers are ever the problem in a place of business. And I believe if you think buyers are the problem, you're the problem. I'll go there. I'll say buyers are never the problem. And if you think buyers are the problem of your business and that's the reason your business is failing, you don't understand business and you should shut down tomorrow. I'll go through. I'll say that one. Thank you, Joshua. I believe delivered is a net positive for consumers. I've seen dealers talking about building relationships. I'll go there even farther. I believe relationships mean nothing in the car industry, and dealerships use it as a way to sell you things. And a relationship means nothing to them, just like it should mean nothing to you. I'll go that far. What else? As someone who sees people go into summer sales, they come back even more annoying. I never trust them. True McKenna. I don't trust him either. What else? You should never wholeheartedly trust a car salesman, no matter what. It's only about the consumer for every business. Correct. Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. Anybody that wants to debate any topic, you can pick any topic, right? Anything you've said. Delivered is awesome and better than most dealerships, and we're solving more problems than most dealerships are. I'll go that far. Boom. But any topic you want to debate me on, all you have to do is DM me on Instagram, and I just ask you to work at a dealership. We don't tell you where your dealership is. I believe dealerships... Let's go farther. I believe dealerships should have to advertise the actual price of the car, and they should not, at this point, I'm going to go as far as dealerships should not be legally allowed to sell anything as a fee above and beyond state registration fees, and those should be, I guess, heavily regulated. I don't believe a dock fee should be legal. I don't believe mandatory add-ons should be legal. I don't believe any. I'm as far as I think dock fees. Actually, I'll go as far as I think dock fees should be illegal. I'm going there. I'll go there. Dock fees should be illegal. Boom. I believe marking up rates should be illegal. You guys, I'm giving you guys good topics to go for. After my video with Vic and the amount of salespeople that are defending the behavior, were you a car salesman? Yes. Was also in finance. Thoughts on the latest episode of Jet Lag? Dude, Amy and Sam cannot catch a break, and I feel so bad for them. And I thought with Maryland, the taxi was just gonna be the end, right? And like it was finally, I was like, maybe this is staged because what are the chances that this is not running? And then they find one for $2. Oh, I love Ben and Adam, and I almost always root for them. But this season, they have had it way too easy. Sam, I'm going out. Sam, you need to recruit me. I can beat Ben and Adam. I promise you, Sam. Put me in any I don't care. I don't need to know it. I will do more research about this market than you even know. And I will know the train lines memorized. Or flights. I don't care. I will beat Ben and Adam. I'll crush their souls. Anyway. That's my thing to get on jet lag. I just want to be on jet lag. Okay, is anybody there? Is anybody here? Hey there, love your stuff. Would love to debate you about sales and customer relationships. Boom, we have somebody. Alyssa, are you vetting people for me today? Because I don't have an EA minus you. You're not my EA. I understand that. I fully respect that. You're not my EA. Tommy, can you honestly say you manipulated people when you a salesperson? Did I manipulate people when I was a salesperson? Did I utilize tactics to convince people to buy things that they probably didn't need or shouldn't buy? Sure. I'm not going to disagree with that. Y'all getting scammed everywhere. Y'all just focus on dealers only. LOL. Doctors, dentists, all do the same. You just named 2 different industries, but Aiden, if you want to debate this, by all means, I would by all means, I would love to talk about it. And then like Ghost, this is what I love about people like Ghostface, right? Like he has an opportunity to come up here. He says that I'm a scam artist. He says all these crazy things. Like he has the opportunity to come up here and defend his position. But instead, he's just going to be a keyboard warrior, hide behind it, and act like he can't say anything. Like you could come up here. Like you could come up here and debate it, and you could prove to thousands of people that I am a scam artist and horrible. I don't think you will. I don't think you will. Why is everyone so mad? Because we're actually changing the industry, and I think they're getting scared. Like truly, I believe that they're actually getting a little nervous. And Ghostface is going to be like, he's not changing the industry. It's been like this for 100 years. Watch. He's going to say that exact thing. Ready? Do you only deal with new cars? We only do new cars right now. Who could you possibly be scamming? Yeah, I'll pay anybody any amount of money if they can prove how what I do is a scam. I'll wait. You can't. Okay, fine. Delivered is not a scam. And our model is 9,000 million, billion, jillion times more transparent than any dealership. Or I would even argue almost any business. Keep going. Again, anybody can come up here and debate me about anything. But like I said already, everything you buy, someone made profit on it. So why can't a dealership? Another debate topic. Nobody cares about your profit. Nobody. Nobody cares about any business's profit. Stop feeling, this is the entitlement part. Oh no, I'm a little business owner, and as a business owner, I must make a profit. You must pay my bills. Nobody thinks like this. Only car dealerships. Only car dealerships. Well, I've got bills. You've got to pay. Oh, wait, I got added. I got somebody. We got somebody. We got to keep the lights on. Alyssa. Oh, it's just me and Alyssa now. This is a whole different world. I got a group chat going. Okay, we got somebody up on the board here. I'm going to pull them up. We're going to use a different number today. Because why not? Boom, 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 boom. Okay. We're going to use a different one. We got Nick here. Boom. Thank you, Alyssa. We're going to call Nick.
Hi there, this is Nicholas.
Hey, Nicholas. I thought it was Nick.
Nicholas, Nick, same thing, sir.
Okay, awesome, man. Well, I think you maybe understand the premise. If you don't, for people who haven't been here, it's really, really simple. I pick a whole bunch of topics, or none of the topics, doesn't matter, and you can debate me on anything. I allow you to have the floor, say the voice. If you disagree with me, you think I'm a scam artist, you think I'm horrible, you think I should fall over, you can say all the things you want, just try to not use profanity, that's all I ask. But the floor is yours. Pick what you want.
Absolutely. I wanted to go ahead and debate customer and salesperson's relationships. First of all, I want to say I absolutely love what you and the Delivered team do. I think every person should honestly fight to what you do for your customers. And I agree with you on a lot of topics. For instance, I agree that dealerships should be cut out. There should be no middleman, and it should be direct product to consumer. And again, I agree with everything. But I do disagree on the fact that there should be no customer sales relationships.
Oh, I don't believe that there shouldn't be. I believe that they have no value.
Understood. I mean, I do also disagree with that. I think a customer and salesperson's relationship can have value on both sides. It should have value on both sides. Does it happen a lot? It does not. But with the dealership I have worked for, I absolutely believe that there is mutual value on both sides.
Yeah, let's just talk about the value for the. Okay, obviously there's gonna be value for the dealership, right? But let's talk about what value there is to a consumer. What does a consumer gain by having a relationship with their car salesman?
Absolutely. I mean, I would say, first of all, that a consumer has essentially they can have a form of trust with the dealership. Like me personally, now this doesn't go for every single dealership. I know that for a fact. But the fact that a customer can know that a dealership has their back in a way through a relationship with a salesperson or a service member or even a sales manager, service manager, I think knowing that they kind of have their back in any kind of form of problems, especially on the used car side. I mean, used cars come with a plethora of problems that may never be known. And I think knowing that they have that kind of trust and that kind of backing from the dealership helps a lot.
But what backing? Like, are we getting in a fight? Are we taking down the mob? Like what? Like, but like in reality, like what is? I appreciate all that. Those are all good, warm, fuzzy things that every car salesman in every world is going to tell me that I've got your back. But like, for what?
I mean, for instance, like I've helped customers get out of cars that I have sold them that have unfortunately had like a problem very early on. Like I had a wonderful customer. She bought a 17 Ford Escape from us. It had very low mileage, but 2 days after I ended up selling it to her, ended up having a major transmission problem. Now she didn't unfortunately get any warranties with that, but us being the dealership that we were, we immediately rectified the problem, knowing that we just sold this customer this car. There's no way that she should be held responsible. It should have been something that was handled by our service team earlier on, and the problem should have been found earlier on.
Okay. Now, would we not make an argument that's just being a decent business? Like, you sold a car that had an issue, the issue had it quick, you ended up getting a second sale out of it. Like, you guys won in this equation too. You guys got another sale. Like, I guess you guys can completely vet them off and like act like they don't exist, but like, why would you? That's not anything about a relationship. That's just doing what's right for the business. And
I
and in
completely
the end,
agree
you
with
guys
you,
caused the problem. I mean, quote unquote, you guys caused the problem, right? Like, if it wasn't, if you guys sold a car without issues, this never would have happened.
and I completely agree with you. I think that it's the fact that one, we didn't even end up actually making another sale off of it. We just essentially the deal was so early on that we essentially just backed the deal out and just threw in. We ended up getting her into a different car. We ended up discounting, I think, a newer car so much that it came down to like the exact payment that she was paying, and then she got gap on top of it. So, yes, I do agree with you to the fact
Yeah.
that it's a good human thing to do, and it should absolutely happen regardless.
But like,
But I
let's say
think
I don't
having
have a
that
relationship
relationship
with a
with
business. Let's just say I go to Target, right? I buy an item. A week later, it has issues. I go back. Do I require a relationship for that issue to be fixed? Like, is it bad that I never met with the cashier and the manager, had a conversation? I literally just went back and said, I have a problem with something I bought from your business. And then the business does what's right. I fail to see like how they were like it almost scares me to the point where you'll say like, well, if we don't have this relationship, I wouldn't do what every other business in America would do.
I totally understand that, and I think that's a very valid point. Like other businesses, for instance, like Target or anything that's consumer, like Best Buy, buying a TV, that absolutely is the case. Where if there's an issue, it's easily either refunded or replaced. But I think that having that relationship with a dealership in order to trust them enough, like for instance, I bought a car a while ago and wanted the car more than I wanted the relationship with the dealership. I had a problem within a month, and I ended up just taking it to a different shop to get it handled. If I had felt like I had more of a relationship with that salesperson or with that management team or the dealership, I would have come back to them and saying, hey, at least let me have you earn my business on this part. I could possibly pay for this repair. But I think having that relationship with the customer to where they can come back to you and hopefully get something resolved is a lot better of a
You're giving
business
benefits to the
idea.
dealer. The dealer lost out in this equation, and you lost out as a. I mean, you ended up just going to somewhere else and getting your problem fixed. The consumer didn't gain anything there. me being if you had such a quote unquote bad experience that you just didn't even trust bringing it back, which just means you had a bad experience, right? If I go to Red Robin's and I end up having a bad burger, I'm probably not going back there, right? This doesn't mean that like I need to have trust for you and have a relationship with you to go through. I just had a bad experience, so I brought it somewhere else. Like the dealership is the one that lost in this equation. I fail to see what the consumer is gaining from this relationship, right? Other than giving repeat business back to the dealer and like all of these things you keep mentioning are benefits to the dealer. None of them are benefits to the consumer. The consumer hasn't gained anything other than like somebody that they can talk to.
I mean, that's a part of it. Yes, just like, for instance, like ease of mind knowing that your situation is going to be handled, or even like the speed in which it's handled. Like this was a very big thing for us, wanting to get this customer handled as quickly as possible. Whereas going somewhere else, it may have taken a week to get that transmission fixed, or another 2 weeks. But us having urgency on that, having a relationship with the customer, getting it fixed as soon as we did to get her back on the road.
So are you implying that you guys wouldn't have fixed the issue if you didn't have a relationship? Like, I mean, what, like, if I would have went and said, I'm not having a relationship with you, I want the lowest price, I'm Tommy the asshole that I'm always am, and I'm like, I'm not talking to you guys, and I bought a car, and a week later you guys issue, are you just saying you don't take care of those clients?
No, I mean, absolutely not. I mean, I could have as a salesperson, I could have a terrible customer who was a pain in the butt to deal with. But if they had the same exact problem happen where they bought a car from us, new or used, and it ended up having a major issue, no matter what, I'm going to be taking care of that customer. I'm not saying that we're going to delay speed or anything like that. I think it's just that customer knowing that they have a good relationship, or even a customer who didn't have a good experience, or knowing at least that we would be taking care of them.
So what benefit does the relationship have? Again,
I would say
you're
ease
willing,
of
no,
mind.
like no matter
Ease
what,
of
if I
mind, honestly.
if I refuse the relationship and I was an a-hole the whole time, I'm still getting exactly what you are giving to the person that was super nice to you and great and wanted that relationship, right? It's the same thing either way. I'm getting the same service because that's what businesses do, right? When something's wrong, they fix it, even if it's not their fault. We have a client right now that shipped a car, and their car has somebody like spilled coffee in it, and that's horrible. We don't deal with shipping. We're not the shippers. We're not. We will help arrange that, but like we're not involved with that. We ended up giving them money to actually pay for that. The shipper ended up reimbursing them, and they still gave me a bad review because of that experience. Right? That's something a third party had any control of the relationship. Like the client's upset, they're angry. It doesn't matter relationship or not. You matter if you're taking care of them. Like in reality, like none of this matters to when it comes down to the client. The client's not having any benefit. But if I had a relationship with the client or not, I would have refunded them some money to cover this because that's the right thing to do for the business, right? Even though it's not my fault, I'm not the one that spilled coffee in their car, and none of my employees did. We still are the ones that take that burden on for the shipper because that's the right thing to do. Businesses do the right thing to do because it's good for publicity, it's good for the business, it's good for repeat and referral. Like there are so many benefits on why to do the right thing it is. And if there was a dealer that said, I'm just going to refuse anybody that ever has an issue ever, they would have such a bad reputation. They wouldn't be in service. Like they wouldn't be a business anymore.
And I completely agree with you on that aspect. I think essentially it would come down to like ease of mind for the customer. Like that relationship, even if the customer doesn't have a good relationship, just knowing the fact that they can trust this dealership to handle this issue, it's just ease of mind. And I feel like that's something that a customer would benefit for.
But isn't it like the most basic like if I buy something at Target, it is just assumed that if something is wrong, I trust that company because they're Target to resolve this. I didn't need a relationship with the manager. And when I go to Costco, I don't have to have a relationship with somebody to know they're going to trust it. It's just assumed I'm buying from a professional, and really a branded dealership like a Toyota dealership, even if it's a used car, I'm going to trust that business does things right. And that trust is going to be broken when you don't do things right. That's not a relationship. That's having trust in a business. And you guys are able to wear the franchise brand because you've earned that trust from the manufacturer. And if you guys were to screw over customers, you would lose that, which is just another step of why people just naturally are going to trust you. But that doesn't mean you have a relationship, right?
It does not, absolutely. But I think if we work in a field that it's honestly like it's one of those kind of like innocent until proven or guilty until proven innocent formats. Like the car dealership has come up as so slummy and scumbaggy to where the fact that a customer can feel confident in a relationship with a good dealership. Like there is a lot of dealerships that I have honestly experienced and heard about from other customers that would do nothing in that scenario, being like, hey, this car was sold as is. Even if 2 days down the line your transmission fails, the car was sold as is. We would be happy to get into the shop for you and you can pay for the repair. But I think customers knowing that they have a relationship with a dealership or with a salesperson to handle this issue is a big benefit to them.
I mean, you're making an argument that the bar is so low that just doing the basic right thing that 99.99999% of businesses would do just because that's the right thing to do is now like a selling point. I don't think that's the benefit to the consumer. I believe that the standard just needs to be raised for dealer. Like this shouldn't be there shouldn't be a debate here. Like if you sold a car and a day or two later transmission goes, I don't even care if they sold an as is form. Get them out of the car, call it a day. It is much easier for you to take that, and you know for a fact that you could have been gassing that car up when it happened. Now, if it's a week, 2 weeks, there's a certain timeline where I get it, but if it's such a short amount of time later where this is just the right thing to do. It's easier for a business to be able to eat that, call it a day. You guys have a way to fight the auction house, but I just don't see the benefit to the consumer. You've even admitted in this call that you're willing to do the right thing no matter what, right? You're going to do the right thing. So the relationship part didn't matter to you because that's what businesses do. The consumer isn't getting any benefit out of this relationship.
I do absolutely see your point in that. I think it's the fact that there is a lot of dealerships out there that are still in that scumminess kind of phase when it comes to a customer and salesperson relationship, that relationships do benefit in this time period. Do I think the bar should be raised? Absolutely. I think every single dealership out there should care for a customer with basic human decency. But at the point in time, with customers telling me what they've experienced, I don't think we're there yet. Should we be there? Absolutely. But I think the benefit of a relationship is a big thing right now.
Yeah, man, we can keep going on this one over and over, but I think we're going to agree to disagree here, man. Like, I fail to see how you've made a point on the relationship mattering.
And that's understandable. And I do agree that we're going around in a little bit of a circle. But again, everything that you and your team are doing, I absolutely agree with. And I wish every single bit of luck for the Deliver team.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right. Bye. Okay, guys, I'm gonna be like super clear and like I'm fine with. And in reality, you guys got to make a choice on what you guys want to watch. One of the things that I've realized, if you guys have watched content, you're here live, is I'm getting recognized more and more often. And as we keep making phone calls and we make more and more phone calls, we're gonna keep getting recognized. And the answer isn't just keep making phone calls because you guys then get mad that we're gonna then get recognized all the time. And then these deals only happen because you get recognized. So we are trying to get different content that's unique and different. I could bleed this out to the day the moon falls over, right? And you guys could be like, okay, we're just gonna do calls all day. And then people get bored of calls, and then I have to try to think of something because people stop watching. But like, if you guys don't like the concept, don't watch it today. Like, I don't know, like, plenty of people like the content. I understand that not everybody likes it, right? But like, I won't lie. It frustrates me to the point where I don't even like to do the lives when I have this many people attacking me to do calls. And again, I understand as a small few, like plenty of people enjoy the debates. I want to give a voice to the people that believe they have a voice. And I do phone calls twice. And again, if you don't want to be here on Thursdays are the same thing every week. I'm going to turn my thing on. Boom, 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 boom. And like if we look at some of these calls, like we had a great call with Vic that ended up doing really, really well on YouTube. The content's doing well. Actually, let's just have fun with this for a minute. Let's just have. So if I go through view channel videos, let it load. So funny enough, my debate series on YouTube is outperforming my YouTube videos. But what I'm saying with the recognition, guys, is that as I keep making more and more and more and more and more and more phone calls, I'm just going to keep getting recognized more and more. It's going to be 90% of people that recognize me. So like, rather than just trying to bleed this out and calling every dealer and keep doing it, like we're gonna start spreading out the content a little bit. We make calls 2 days a week, Tuesdays and normally Wednesdays, and Thursdays are debate day. It wasn't about the content. There's something bigger at play. I don't know about that. Do prank calls? No. Vic applied for you. I'll give her. I like the variety, yeah. And we're gonna have more variety. Like we're gonna have more different things. I think. Can you turn down the audio? It's on an install. Just wondering. A noise gate. We have a noise gate, so we should have that. The audio shouldn't be clipping. I don't know why it is. You spend half the stream yapping back to the haters. That's the whole point of the stream today, though. We are yapping back to the haters. Maybe I'll get to debate you again in Houston, yeah. Over here, LeBron. I know, but like I said, it gets more what's frustrating for me, right? And this is just like there's just some honest talk as we wait for the next person to come on. Is like I really fight hard to make fun and entertaining content. Like you put your body on the line, making content. So like the idea that we're trying something different, and I get it. You're like, this isn't for me. Like, and you can say like, hey Tommy, I'm not watching this one. I'll go watch the next one. Appreciate you doing. But like saying, I wish that I remember the times where the stream used to be entertaining. It's just like insulting. The views have gone up. People are still here. More people are engaged in this content before. Why don't you just support the channel? You know what? I don't like this series, but I like the other series. That's okay. I'm not mad that you don't like this series, but like, why bring down everybody here? Today's goal, listening to someone crash out on live. Me crashing out. Just like. Do we got another one, Alyssa? But I'm gonna keep debating people. We have a Discord channel. He changed his house and his backdrop for the series? I don't think I did that, but... What was your past work experience? I was in sales, finance, and then I was cell phone sales. Yep, no call, yes. I understand you can't please everybody. I get it. I think sometimes people forget that there are humans that are making the content for them. I think some people forget that. I used to work at US Cellular Edgewood. What store were you in? Funny enough, I ran that Edgewood store. Not the Edgewood store, sorry. I ran the Blair's Ferry store. Aw, thank you, Caleb. Appreciate it. Okay, we are debating people that want to debate. If you want to have a conversation, if you want to debate, you can disagree with anything. Car salesman doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to me. Thoughts on the Polestar ban? I mean, I'm not a big fan of the bans in general. I don't like the idea of restricting the things that consumers can get. Did you take a vacation in Japan? Any videos on cars? No. We did take a vacation in Japan, but no videos of cars. Chat wants to debate your content, it seems. I mean, if somebody wants to try to come on here and debate it, but I think they're going to lose really quick. People just want you to entertain me. I mean, I get it, right? Like, I get it. Like, I'm not mad that people want the content. I just think people, I think as a whole, the internet, and this goes down to it, like a deeper thing. I just think people like sometimes forget that there's just other humans on the other side. And I wish I just came on here like once a week and was like, hey guys, my name's Tommy. I like both series. What would be nice for once a stream we go over and do deals for some clients and tell them about their experience. I like that. I would like to know what your message would be for every car manufacturer that is sitting at your table, assuming no laws could change if they were sitting at your table. Well, if you can't change laws, there's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do. Okay. So if you want to debate, if you're a car salesman, and you want to debate, you certainly can come up here and debate. I will debate you on anything or everything you want. What percent do you take from each deal? We charge a $1,000 fee. You can just DM me on Instagram. That's gonna be the best way. The best way to DM us or to get on here. Let's see if anybody's DM'd us. I think we're working on a few people. Take it or not. Not a car salesman would like to debate you on what, but what are you gonna try to debate me on? Like the whole reason we do this series, is that car salesmen are in my audience every single day. They're in my comment section. They want to come on and they want to talk BS. And like funny, I think the funny thing is like this is like the moment where they can actually go through. I'm not doing a religious debate. Can you accept $900? No. Do you ever shout out dealers that are easy to work with? No. Debate Tyler sells cars on who is better. Why would I debate him? I mean, he would be really hard pressed to say. I mean, he just started and he applied to work for delivery and didn't make it delivered. Stop skipping my comment. I'm not skipping your comment. There's just other people in here. Read it. What's your comment? Read my comment out loud. I've read every single one of them. What's your comment? Somebody tell me what his comment is. Okay, another person's in a debate. I'm turn off work. Does anybody want to come here? So anybody can come up. So the idea behind today's debate series is super simple. You can debate anything that you want, any topic. If you're in car sales, ideally, that's the point. I'll give you some fodder to jump on. I believe that commission should be banned from dealerships tomorrow because it would fix a lot of the industry. I believe direct-to-consumer would solve most of the problems that dealerships have and should be allowed to run alongside with dealerships. I believe that dealerships, you should not inherently trust them because they have their own intentions at heart and they're almost never aligned with yours. I believe delivered is a net positive for the business and it's helped more consumers than any dealership has. Go that far. Do the TikTok join thing. It's a little bit different because I'm multi-stream. If you want to debate any of these points, you certainly can. You just have to DM us on Instagram. It is by far the best way to DM us. I gotta answer my. Don't most businesses have their own business and profit in mind? It might be a good debate here. That might be a good point to make a debate on. I would disagree, but what else? What else? Wouldn't you be on Jubilee when they asked me to be on Jubilee? If commission is eliminated, are you doing straight salary? I would do straight salary. I believe Chevy Dude is a narcissist and a pathological liar, and he is a front place to the debate line if he wants to do the debate series. I don't, at this point, I don't believe looking for any Toyotas. We're always looking for Toyotas. I believe that F&I should not be able to mark up rate, and it's inherently wrong. What else did I say was illegal? Have you talked about your own G90 in another video? I'm curious. Yeah, I have my M5CS. It's an M5CS. Commissions get better salesmen. I disagree. I want the Jubilee. If Jubilee doesn't pull the video, I'll do it myself. I'll film that video myself, Michaela. It's just going to take a lot to do. I was hoping Jubilee would do it, but I don't think they're going to do it. So I've reached out to him. I think it would be really good. Open an ethical dealership on the side. Maybe one day, but that's not like the point. The whole point is not to get in a world where I have to open a dealership to fix the problem. I believe it's absurd that a middleman has to be here to fix middleman problems. Do we have anybody that wants to debate? I want people that want to debate. I think we got some people, maybe. If Connor wants to debate, I'll let him debate. Oh, we have 2 people that are saying they want to debate. We got a few people that want to debate. You can debate anything. Boom, boom, boom. I believe that dealerships are not entitled to a profit. I believe that salespeople feel entitled to your money when they shouldn't. I believe that most problems that the dealership believe are impossible to solve could be solved in 5 minutes with a competent person. For example, I believe that every dealer should be able to get out the door pricing almost to the cent. And I think that any knowledgeable person could solve that problem within 5 minutes, even though they say it's impossible to resolve. What else we got? I believe nobody cares about dealership profit, and people should stop asking that question because it's a horrible question. I believe direct-to-consumer would solve almost all problems and make things not only cheaper, more affordable, easier to buy a car, but a better overall experience, and would make dealerships more money to have direct-to-consumer. For you to say dealership shouldn't make money or shouldn't make profit is wild. What I also love is I also believe that most car salesmen or people in the industry fail to listen to their consumers and instead hear what they want to hear. And that is a really good example of it. Dealerships are not entitled to a profit. That is the statement I have said. If you want to come up here and debate that, you certainly can. I believe BDC is a useless industry or a useless role that has no benefit other than for the dealership and nothing for the consumer. I believe marking up rate should be illegal. Okay, Alyssa. Ryan wants live. Would negotiations on price end completely after dealership switching to direct to consumer? Would it be more worth it to stay to the middleman and us be able to save more money? Would negotiations stop if a direct to consumer model existed side by side? Maybe. I mean, that the market would determine that. I would imagine it would, but it's possible that they still would negotiate. I think it would not be a good business model. I don't think it would be a strong business model if you're trying to compete with DDC to negotiate. This is one of the things people don't like. Okay, do you guys want to hear from a car salesman that's not a car salesman? He's a salesman, but not a car salesman. You guys want to hear from not a car salesman, but a salesman that wants to debate? I'll let you guys decide. Just say yes or no. Yes, yes, no, 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 sure, why not? Okay, I'm gonna give him a short leash. If it gets boring, we can call it. We can call it if it gets boring.
This is Connor. How may I help you?
Hey, Connor, it's Tommy from Delivered. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Okay, man, I don't normally debate people that aren't in the car industry, but you are a salesman, so I will give you the benefit of the doubt here, and I will give you a short leash here. If it gets boring, though, the audience says they're going to kick you out. So what is your debate angle? I think you understand the angle. What do you want to debate on?
Yeah, so my only argument, and this is coming from a real estate background, is everyone has agency in real estate, and so you have like a buyer's agent and a seller's agent on pretty much every sale that goes on in real estate. And I feel like you're kind of like the buyer's agent for like buyers that are looking for cars, which is great. But I still think like these big companies, I mean, as much as like everyone hates corporate America, I still think they need dealerships to have some sort of agency to help them sell their cars. Because there's like a lot of liability that would come into play, like if they sold like direct to consumer. And they probably a lot of times are going through dealerships to save face like that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, but I mean, we can make an argument that the real estate agent as a whole, I mean, I don't believe in the real estate agency as their payment model as well. It's more transparent than the car dealership world, but like I know exactly what everybody's being paid in that equation. But I do think it's absurd that even real estates are making the commissions that they are and the percentages they are. I believe that for consumers, there's little benefit to it, and it doesn't protect the consumer. And I think, you know, if it wasn't for the massive amount of loans they're taking out, paying somebody or an agency 2.5% of the purchase price plus 2.5 to sell on the other side is just insane. 5% of a $2 million home adds up super quickly. And selling, you know, a $2 million home versus a $1.5 million home, is that worth it? I mean, this is a whole different debate, but I believe that industry needs to be changed as well.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I don't agree with that at all. And I think a thing that is probably gonna come into play, like with our debate with the real estate and both the car dealership, is if you take away the dealership and if you start taking away like real estate agents, there's just a lot of fraud and a lot of corruption that happens with deals that aren't involved with dealerships or real estate agents. There's a lot of wholesaling where people pose as fake buyers, and there's a lot of scamming both on the off-market deals with cars as well. I mean, there's a whole wholesaling market where people lowball the crap out of people to like steal their cars basically and resell them. And I think dealerships, even though they don't give you like exactly what you want for your trade-in, I think it's a little bit more of a protection for consumers rather than dealing with just an open not market or whatever you would call it.
Yeah, but how are dealerships are trying to buy your trade for as little as possible? Like the idea that they're out there to protect you is not true. If Carvana and CarMax never existed, they would be undershooting by thousands of dollars every single time. The only thing that's been good for the industry is a third party came in and made it really easy to sell your car to somebody that wasn't a dealership. Like there was no world where the dealership was ever looking out for the consumer there.
Well, the thing is it's not that they're looking out for the consumer. It's the dishonest fraudsters that are like lowballing consumers even more than they are, and like legitimately like stealing cars, like paying $2,000 for a car that's worth 10 to some old lady. Like as much as a car dealership, like it does like try to make a profit, I feel like it's more reasonable than the worst case scenario.
Yeah, but you're also assuming that a dealership, if they had the opportunity, wouldn't try to steal a trade if they had the opportunity. Now, the reason why they can't is public perception. But I can tell you that dealerships will lowball. If you went in and your trade is worth 10 grand and you walked up to the salesperson and said, I'm really hoping to get 5 grand for it, I promise you, you're probably going to get $5,500 for your trade. You're not going to get 9 grand for your trade, right? Like they're going to use the knowledge you say on them to try to hold as much gross as they can. That's what a business does. But this idea that they're looking out for you, the reason why, if somebody wants to lowball somebody to such a crazy degree, I wouldn't even consider that like a scam. You accepted that offer from a third party that has no agency and they just so, but like you'd have to list your car on Facebook for this to even happen. Like you'd have to list your car for sale, which
Well,
most
that's what I'm
people
saying.
don't do.
If you don't have car dealerships, that's what I'm saying. Is more of the off-market deals would happen, and there's be more of a chance of people
But why
having
not just
like.
sell it to? I'm never a proponent of getting rid of car dealerships, but let's just say we do, right? Let's just say car dealerships go away. Why wouldn't Carvana CarMax not solve this issue? Again, 5 clicks, I can sell my car. That solves
Well,
this problem immediately.
ultimately in the future, it's probably going to be like that when it's just like one or two like really awesome tech AI companies that like buy cars. Maybe it's Carvana, maybe it's a better version of them. So in the future,
No,
it
I'm
will
talking about like
probably be
today.
some.
Like today, we can sell a car in 5 clicks to Carvana CarMax. Like it is not like a future possibility. Maybe like it's today. Like that's here. We're here. Carvana CarMax are dealerships. They can buy cars, and they make it super easy to do. So like why would like a new model of fraudsters come out and be able to
They're
compete with
already
that model.
here. They're already here. Like, you don't ever hear, because you're in the car industry. I'm surprised you don't hear about people getting like ripped off on Facebook.
I mean, you're talking about
Marketplace.
less than 1%. Like you're talking about like a 0.1% of the market. You're talking about a crazy outlier of like people getting screwed up. Because again, you'd have to be the person that is listing your car on Facebook for these guys to even know you exist.
How do you know it's 1%? I feel like it's way more. Because okay, so and this is where me not being a car guy probably hurts, but in the real estate industry, you would think that wholesalers and fraudsters and people that are fake buyers that are giving lowball offers to people that don't have their homes listed is like not a lot, but it's actually like a crazy problem in the industry. And so a reason why you should pay an agent full commission is to prevent yourself from, signing a contract that you probably shouldn't sign.
Yeah, but like what even percentage of, let's just go, what's the percentage of wholesalers that are what is the percentage of people underselling their houses to wholesalers on the market today?
Probably like 10%.
You think 10% of the homes sold in America are sold to wholesalers that are undercutting by hundreds of thousands of dollars?
I would say they're at least getting offers from them,
Yeah, but
and
getting
some of
offers
the
means nothing, right? Like that's like you getting an ad in the mail saying like I will
well,
mow your lawn for $4. Just because they get an offer for somebody doesn't mean they're accepted. Like what
it's
we're talking about, you're talking about an
it's
epidemic of people getting screwed, but like it's such a small amount.
there's no like chart or data for that, because the National Association of Realtors, they only keep track of what's on market. There's no way to find out the deals that are happening off market. Like, you'd have to, there's no database for that.
Yeah, but and again, sure. And I guess you can ask every single consumer on how many people or every person that's listed their house but again, just getting a low ball offer, it's really not hard to figure out what the rough value of your house is and then go from there. And
You
again,
would be
I'm not, but again, I'm
you'd
not
be
even recommending getting rid of real estate agents as a whole. I'm saying that the real estate commission structure is broken, and I don't believe that 2.5% is a valid commission for somebody selling a house.
Yeah, I would totally disagree, because on average, people make
Well,
more
sure,
money
you work in the industry, right?
net.
Like that's a large chunk of change to make, right? You'd be like, of
Well,
course, yeah, I disagree.
no. If you put it in AI or Google, everything, all the data says if you use a real estate agent, you make more money net in your pocket rather
What if
than
I made a
trying
real
to.
estate agent that didn't make 2.5%?
What if you met a real estate agent that didn't make 2.5%?
Yeah, but yeah, I mean the idea behind it, I'm not arguing that real estate agents are bad. What I'm arguing is that real estate agents as a whole, the whole model is broken to the point where consumers, I agree, they need them, but I believe 2.5% is a crazy number to pay anybody, especially when you start looking at homes that are $2, $3, $4 million, like $1 million, even a $1 million home, which a lot of houses are approaching $800 to $2 million in bigger cities. Like we're talking about a big chunk of change on something that isn't much different than selling a house. A house being sold for 700,000 is not that much of a skill different from somebody being sold for 1.5, but they're getting paid twice as much. But like a flat model would be something that I would think would be make more sense.
There's a really long explanation, but the long and short of it is that not every listing sells, and not every listing is a smooth transaction. So the people that are closing on their homes and paying those large commissions, you're actually also paying for the time that the agent has that their properties that aren't selling as well. So that's
Yeah, but
a
why is that?
little bit.
Why is that a buyer's fault? Why is that a seller's fault that you've bought a property that hasn't listed? Again, this is a whole business problem. It's the same thing. Like I would also argue that tipping in America is out of control, and we shouldn't have any tips at all. Businesses should just pay their employees. I believe that we shouldn't have. Again, there should be a flat business model, and I will tell you, if I don't get to it, if somebody doesn't beat me to it. Once Delivered's fixed, real estate's one of those agencies that I imagine a flat fee you pay for somebody and they work for you and they're 100% just like a real estate agent, but you're not paying them 2.5%. I think people are going to be more than willing to pay that flat fee, and get somebody that's an expert at what they're doing.
Yeah, but the thing is so many people have like tried to make brokerages and tried to do that and tried to be like discount agents, and like they've always gone out of business. Because
right. A lot of brokers have come out that attempted to do what I'm doing here, failed miserably, and gone out of business.
But you're good with TikTok and marketing, and you're better at that than everyone else. And I've never thought of the way that you do business before. So like what you're doing is kind of new. But with the real estate stuff, to be honest, too, like these new companies that try to do the discount thing, they're not texting and calling their clients back at 8 p.m. at night when
But
like
why not?
other people. Well, because they don't get
And
paid 2.5% commission.
what's the turnover for a real estate agent?
It's really high. I've been doing it for 10 years, so I made the cut. But it's like I
But
think
yeah,
like
so that's what you're
85%.
saying, right? Like, if you find the right real estate agent that isn't too busy for you, then maybe they're answering your calls. But again, the turnover is so high because so many people fail at it because they can't figure it out. Imagine if we just paid a real estate agent just a really good wage, say 250 grand a year to sell houses. I think you can get some really talented people out there and be able to make a business that makes sense, paying people a fair salary.
Yeah, I don't know. I think just the capitalistic nature of our society would make that very hard because it's kind of like the car industry where there's just ingrained roots that I don't think can change to like disrupt the market as much. I mean, you're definitely disrupting the car market, but I would say it's still at like a very small percentage if you look at like the overall car sales for the nation. Like I know you say you do like 100 deals per month or hundreds of deals, but like
Mhm.
literally that's like way less than even 1% of all cars sold. Like that's probably like a fraction of
Mhm.
1%. It's probably like 0.001 or
Yeah,
something.
so yes, as our business model as a whole, we do a small percentage, but we're 3 years in business. Give
Mm.
us till 10 years, and then we see what that percentage is, right? Most businesses aren't taking over a multi-trillion-dollar industry in 3 years. I can't imagine many, but there was once upon a time where BlackBerry said nobody would ever buy a phone without a keyboard, and you were an idiot to ever
Yeah.
think that anybody would ever do that. And there was no other idea. And then Apple made an iPhone and it changed an industry. Like this idea is that I hate to tell it, but like you are thinking of an employee mindset, not a founder and an entrepreneur. People that actually look at industries, because most people, if you ask like, do they trust a real estate agent? They'll say no, right? Like that's like real estate don't have they're more trusted than a car salesman, but not by I think it ends up being like 18, 19% of people trust their real estate agent, which is
Yeah.
low. But like we're talking about like, yes, you can 100% change an industry. And yes, it's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy. This is why the people that do it end up working out really well. But there was plenty of people that still to this day say that I'm never going to change this industry. I'm a little drop in the bucket of things. But this is what founders do. They have big dreams, and I believe people want a different real estate process as well. That's not a problem I'm tackling today, but like I just don't think the idea that I believe there's a lot of talented and smart people out there, and they're not like the reason why people aren't getting into real estate is that it's a high barrier of entry, high chance of failure, and it takes years to be able to make actual good money. If I made a starting real estate agent at $250,000 a year, I'm sorry, like that would attract some serious talent. It would. Like
Yeah.
people would come in that you've never heard of that are in different industries. And guess what? They would be like, you know what? Like, let me find ways to solve this problem.
But what about people that get that job and then they're just like lazy about it and then they
Then they
don't
don't have a
really
job. Like
deserve the 250K?
commission salespeople blow my mind. Like this idea that like everybody that's paid a high salary is just like becomes lazy. Like you just don't keep your job. Like when you have a high salary and you don't do well at your job, you don't keep your job. Like it's that easy.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to keep debating and go back and forth with you, but I'll let someone else get back up here or something. But I do want to ask you a quick question while we're chatting here.
Sure.
What would you ever increase the price of your services?
Nope. Unless something like crazy with the economy changes and the value of the dollar. But like we have a line. We're 14 business days out. We're 30 days business out, 30 days of business days out at a certain point. And what every business owner and their mom told me to do was double my price, and it would solve most of my problems because I would be able to make the same amount of money with less clients. But I refused.
Yeah.
It just doesn't like for me. I believe $1,000 is fair, and I would rather turn people down and not make as much money than I would just try to profit off everybody and change my prices.
What if someone does what you do and just start offering 500?
Plenty of people do.
That's
It's
hilarious.
true. Look at all the people that are starting services that are doing it for cheaper. I've never promised to be the cheapest. I promise to be the best, and that's what we're here, and that's why people use the service, right? It's a
Mhm.
service, not a product, but yeah. There's plenty of people are going to offer cheaper services. I don't expect it, but $1,000 is what we believe is fair. We didn't raise it when Just like during COVID, I think it's a shame on dealers for raising prices as high as they did. When we were too busy to handle all of the demand because of the Wall Street Journal piece, we could have raised our prices. We didn't. I actually, funny enough, I refunded $40,000 worth of business because it was the right thing to do. I took $40,000 out of my own pocket and refunded people because I couldn't handle used cars anymore. And I said, okay, I got to refund somebody used cars. You guys are all getting your money back. Even if I started your deal, even if I was negotiating your deal, even if you had a deal and you were waiting, I refunded everybody. It ended up being about 40 grand of refunds because it was the right thing to do. Yeah, I'd rather keep my price the way it is and keep doing what it is. And if the dollar value, the dollar changes and $1,000 is because inflation goes crazy is 2,000, maybe that's a conversation, but I just believe 1,000 is a fair number. It's been a fair number since the day I started the company.
Right on. Well, I have a 2016 Audi A6 Prestige, and if I need a car next couple of years, I'm using your service. Appreciate your effort in the business, and really love your videos, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right, take care. Bye.
Bye. Okay. So, guys, we are debating. Anybody that wants to come in, if you want to debate me, you need to come on to Instagram and DM me. It's the best way to get on there. DM me on Instagram. Not fair taking 50% of what you might save them. What do you mean? I don't take 50%. I take $1,000. Have you ever heard of the paradox of choice? Maybe stick your point to a certain time. I mean, I'll allow them to stick whatever choice they want. I understand what you're saying. Okay, let me see what else I got. I think we have more people. Okay, we had a dealership owner here next. We got a dealership owner. Let's go through this one. This person owns a dealership. This should be a good conversation. This should be a good conversation. I gotta go. It's fine. Oh, wait. After this guy, I'll restroom.
Please leave your message for 7184115.
Try to call him again.
Hello.
Hey, it's Tommy from Delivered. You signed up for the debate?
Hey, what's up, brother? How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well, man. Well, I think you understand the premise. You get to debate any topic you want. I'm just, I'll let you talk. I don't cut you off. I let you go through your opinion. So without further ado, man, debate anything you want.
Yeah, man. So basically, I'm an owner of a used car dealership. I run two dealerships here in New Jersey. So I mean, I'm a family owned and operated. So I like some of the points you brought up about how like the salary, the commission base should be cut out the business. I'm a firm believer of that because in our business, there's ups and downs, right? Some months are really good. Some people go home happy, really happy with their paycheck. And then some months are really terrible and they're not happy with their job. The work ethic, it kind of throws off the work ethic in the office too when the morale is down of the sales. So in terms of that, like I have 7 employees, right?
Sure.
So I've put everybody on a flat salary. So everyone's much happier with the work. Everyone's making a confirmed pay. So what are your opinions on that? Do you think it should be like that, or do you think it should be commission based?
I think flat salary is the way to go. I mean, that's how I believe. I believe you can get some really good talent if you pay a good salary. And yeah, the ups and downs are bad. Rewarding car salesmen for selling a car for more or less ends up breeding the wrong type of attitude towards consumers.
Okay. But also, don't you think that like if they know they're getting a guaranteed pay every month, they can be a little more lazier than and not work as hard as they should?
It means you're hiring the wrong people.
Yeah, you think so? You think?
Yeah, that would be. I mean, that's my general rule of thumb. I believe that that's where you're going. If you have a good culture, you have a good mission, and you understand the job, and you give people a company worth working for. Like here at Delivered, we don't have any. We don't have any commission. We don't have anything like this, but people get to choose their own career path. So basically what that means is, my executive assistant, Ashley, wanted to be director of operations. Company didn't have director of operations. That didn't exist. but she knew the company well enough. She learned the company, built a role, sold us on the role, sold us on a salary, and ended up building that role, and now made her own salary, made her own career, does exactly what she wants in the company she enjoys. That work environment and that level of commitment to their employees, people will fight hand over fist to work for a company that way, and they don't want to lose the opportunity, because a lot of companies suck, right? We work from home, we give you work-life balance, we allow you to work remotely, so if you want to work in Europe for 2 weeks, you can, no problem. Some companies that work from remote are crazy. Like, wait, you want to work from Cancun? No. Like, this is like, people, if you give people good culture and give people a great place to work, they will fight hand over fist for you.
Gotcha. Also, I mean, the service that you're running, it's like, again, like from your other point, it's a very fairly new service, right? So what you're doing is just negotiating a deal. I know you're not a broker, but you're just negotiating a deal for the customer. Now, in my perspective, how does the customer know that you're negotiating the best deal that they can from it? They're paying for they're paying for a service from you. How are you making sure that the customer knows that, they're getting the best deal in the market through you?
Great question. So first off, I've never once advertised this as a money saving service. So what we do is we go and do the research for you, and you have a customer profile page that you get access to at all times. You actually will go through and see every dealer that we're talking to. You actually have a section that we added to our profiles, which I love recently, which will, let's just say you're buying a BMW X5. You'll actually see the last 5 X5 deals that we did and that clients accepted. So you not only have data of the last 5 that people accepted just wholeheartedly, but then you see every deal we're negotiating. We negotiate locally, we'll negotiate out of the state. Sometimes we're negotiating with 10 dealers, sometimes it's 50 dealers, but you'll see all of that data. And once you have all of that information,
you're giving your customer like comps of like your most recent deals, depending in that month or that time frame that when they're purchasing a vehicle from you.
Yeah, correct.
Wow, that's actually all this data-driven stuff. Everything's data-driven nowadays, apparently, like everything, right? Like when we buy cars, we're looking at comps, we're looking at MMR. Everything is all data-driven.
Yep.
Right. So my question to you is, again, the customer, when they approach you, how do you go about? All right, I'm gonna look at this. I'm gonna look at this location for the best deal, or like this side of the country. How do you go about that?
Wait, so repeat the question. Sorry, I'm a little confused with the
question. So my question is, so when you start looking for a vehicle for a customer, right? Like let's say I come in for you and I want an X5 from you. Where does your search begin? Like, you search online, or do you search, like, do you have dealer partners or that you closely work with, or how does that go? How does that work?
Yeah, so like how our process works is a little internal side, but what we do is we have dealers that have signed up that said they want to do business with us. I don't consider it dealer partners because we don't ever guarantee them business. They're like in my chat right now. I want to do business with you. I want to do business with you. So we allow you to sign up for a text thread. With that, if I have an X5, you'll get a text if it's in your area and what you assign. Say, hey, I have an X5. You can put a bid in. It doesn't guarantee you anything, but it gets it in front of the client's eyes because they can see all of this. Once we have all of those information out, we then go. Did I lose him? I lost him. He hung up on me, guys. So once that happens, we just if he's here. Once we have that information, sorry, let me just go here and make sure this goes. Once we have that information, we then take that information and then see what previous markets netted us the best deals from before. So we use the data. So let's just say, hypothetically, I'm looking for an X5, and I realize that Iowa has really good X5s, and I've done 7 X5 deals in the last 30 days. All of them, I got great deals in Iowa. We'll call dealers in that area to occur that. Once we have all of this data, we take all of this data with their local market and try to get their local market as close as possible, and then let the client decide. Tommy, love everything you do, but with the whole dealership partner thing, you sound a bit like a broker. Not at all. The difference between a broker and a car buying advocate is really simple, is brokers help sell cars. So if you look at a broker's website, they're going to have very specific inventory that they're selling, normally lease deals. We're doing $300 a month on a lease deal. On this car, we have 3 left. The reason being is they are helping people sell cars. For us, we help people buy cars. They pay us an X fee. Once they pay us that fee, we then go out in the market and find those cars. That's the difference. We're not helping people sell cars. We're helping people buy them. Does that make sense? His phone died, by the way. Okay, I think we have other people, though. He didn't really want to seem like he wanted to debate me. It was more just asking for like business advice. Mike, wait, guys. I don't want to freak out, but there is a Mike. Is it Mike? Wait, before this one, I don't know who it is, but I'm going to have to go to the restroom. And I'm real quick. I'll go quick. We'll do this. This could be Mike. I don't want to say it's Mike, but it could be Mike. Hey guys, I'm back. Okay, we're gonna get Mike here. Mike. Moment of truth. If you want to debate, DM us on Instagram.
Hello?
Hi, is this Mike?
Yes, sir, this is.
Hey, Mike, this is Tommy from Delivered. How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Hey, man, doing well. The premise is really simple. I allow anybody to come up here to debate me on any topic they choose, ideally in the car industry, but, you know, at this point, I guess we're open today. The floor is yours. If you want to say I'm a horrible human being and should follow over, you certainly can. Just don't use profanity.
Yes, sir. I work at a manufacturer. I'm not going to name where I work at.
Sure.
So it might be there might be some background noise. My question is, I agree with 100% of what you do. My question is if I buy a car from you, or I go into the dealer because I wanted to save the most amount of money on that car,
Sure.
Am I going to get a better discount from your service or buying it directly from the manufacturer?
Okay, so you're saying in a hypothetical situation that direct-to-consumer exists?
Correct.
In theory, I don't believe my service would be needed. I believe direct-to-consumer, if they do it right, can undercut everybody. So I would argue that the best price would actually be direct-to-consumer. I believe it would be a premium to use like a dealership. But I don't even believe that I would be in business. If direct-to-consumer exists, I don't see the need, because people who don't want to deal with the process would just go to DTC. But I believe it would be cheaper to just do DTC. I wouldn't recommend hiring me if there was that option.
So then what would be this is all hypothetical.
Sure.
So what would stop the manufacturer from creating a supply chain issue?
Okay.
They're saying, well, we have this many cars that we can allocate, however
Okay.
you want to say that.
Yeah, super simple. Toyota and Honda are top dogs. I think most people can agree with that. Do you think that Kia, Hyundai, and Mazda want to be top dogs?
Sure.
So why wouldn't, if Toyota and Honda start to do that, why wouldn't Mazda say, you know what, I'm going to just pump out as many cars. Toyota doesn't give you options. I'm going to give you 98 different options in every color you want. And I'm going to be able to deliver it. And I'm going to be thousands of dollars cheaper. You have competition. And then people are going to be like, oh, I don't want to wait weeks and overpay for a Toyota. I can buy a Mazda in 4 clicks and be right at my house.
Okay. Then what do you do with your trade-in?
I mean, so Tesla still takes in trades. Most companies still do, but Carvana and CarMax are still a thing. But again, I don't believe that if direct-to-consumer becomes a thing, I don't believe dealerships go out of business. I actually believe it becomes this model actually becomes a really good model. If I was a manufacturer and I said, hey, I want to use your dealership for X, Y, and Z, and I'm going to give you every trade I have at cost. Do you want it? I think dealerships would just buy those like crazy. I could give a manufacturer could buy that and then just auction that car off instantly, and they would sell the car so quick because it'd be like a local trade-in.
So then what do you do if you don't have the title to it? Say if you still owe money on that trade-in.
Well, I mean, that's what like a secure power of attorney would do. So like even when you like trade your car into a dealership, even if you don't have the title, there are ways around that. Secure
Right,
power
you
of
do
attorney
that power of attorney stuff. But if you're selling it directly to the consumer and you own a BMW M5. So I remember you saying that yesterday or day before yesterday, something like that. You own an M5, you still owe $80,000 on it, and the car's worth 65. I know that's hypothetical. I know,
Sure.
but I want to buy the new competition X5 that's coming out in 2027.
Sure.
What do you do with that residual money? Because somebody still has to pay it, but now you're buying it directly from the manufacturer, and you've got it financed through Capital One.
Yeah, and just to make sure I'm on the same page, are you saying they have positive equity or negative equity?
Negative equity.
Yeah, negative equity. So one of the reasons why I believe that dealerships wouldn't go out of business, because I believe they would solve this problem. Because I do believe manufacturers might put their foot down. It's a possibility, right? And they say, hey, you know what? We're not dealing with negative equity like Tesla does. And in that world, you would just go to a dealership, right? That would be one of the reasons why a dealership would have an advantageous. If you have and that might be how they hire or get people in. You have negative equity, the manufacturer won't take care of you. I will. I mean, but you could also just make agreements with with dealerships that you could have like a through sale. So essentially, let's just say I'm a manufacturer and I'm just trying to think if and we're all talking hypotheticals. I'm a Toyota dealer and I know that in your area in Houston, Texas, you need trades desperately. I'm going to call these dealerships and say, hey, I'm selling cars direct to consumer. I might have trades with negative equity. Is there a world you want to be a part of these and buy these trades through me and do a through sale, something along those lines? They say yes. I call those people up when I need to make those deals. This is really niche, but I believe smart people would solve problems.
So you would still need a dealer network.
Yeah, and again, I've never once been a proponent of getting rid of dealers. There's not a single video where I said dealers need to go out of business. I believe that direct-to-consumer should exist alongside of dealers.
Okay. What about? Okay, well then never mind. Because I was going to ask about warranty work then at that point, but
yeah, dealers would still be there.
That answers that question. So.
And this would be all the reason why manufacturers that actually have a little bit of power on them, because the amount of manufacturer money that dealers make on manufacturer work is insane. So, I mean, that can be quid pro. Hey, we're going to keep giving you manufacturer work, but in return, you're going to help buy some of these trades. And, again, there's ways around that. It's just business relationships you'd have to make.
Okay. I mean, that's really all I have. I just wanted to understand, like, what would stop the manufacturer from creating its own supply chain issue.
Yeah, just competition. I mean, supply and demand is, otherwise every business would do whatever. But I appreciate you bringing it up, man. I appreciate you jumping on.
I appreciate you giving me the chance to talk, man.
Absolutely, man. Anytime. Have a great day.
Thank you, sir. You too.
Bye. Okay, guys, anybody who wants to debate anything, you certainly can. You just have to DM us on Instagram. I want people who disagree, right? I want people that disagree with me, people that don't like me. There was some guy that was in here multiple times saying, let me in, couch, let me in. Like, come on in. Come debate me. Come have a conversation. I want to debate something. I'm all for it. And we're going to call Alexis here. She works in the dealership world, apparently, but not in the dealership itself. But I'm curious to see. Okay. I'm curious on this one.
You have reached.
Try to call you twice. This person actually works at dealership tech. Like, sometimes you gotta call twice. When was this posted? Posted 10 minutes ago. Okay. She didn't answer, Alyssa, so if you want to keep her in line if she decides to come back. So if anybody wants to debate me, guys, you certainly can. I'm going to give you guys some fodder, some information, some things that you can, quote-unquote, debate me on if you guys are ready for it. First off, I believe commission should be banned in the dealership world because I believe it causes more problems than not. I believe direct-to-consumer would solve most problems if you allowed it to run alongside of the dealership model. I believe dealerships are not entitled to a profit. I believe delivered is a net positive for consumers and has done more good for consumers than almost any dealership has. What else am I thinking? I believe that most car salesmen feel entitled to your money when they shouldn't. I'm trying to think what else I say. I believe marking up rate and finance should be illegal. Again, Gary sells Toyotas. If you want to disagree with the point, you certainly can jump on the live and have a debate on it. That's the whole point. What other things we got? What other things do I think that are quote-unquote controversial? I'm trying to think. I believe you shouldn't inherently trust a car salesman because car salesmen almost never have well, I'll just go with that. I won't even get the argument. I would say you should never inherently trust your car salesman. Boom. I said what I said. I believe in today's market, based on the current system, market adjustment should be illegal. I believe that doc fees should be illegal. Oh, I have that one now. It's a new one, right? Do you believe in the free market? 1,000%. The free market would solve all the issues. But I believe that doc fees should be illegal. I'm going that far. Boom. I'm going crazy once. I believe Chevy Dude is a narcissist and a pathological liar. And also can't dish out what he pushes out. If you want to debate any of these, you can come on to and DM me on Instagram. We vet you. Make sure that you're real before we allow you on. Dealerships are entitled to making a profit. Dealerships are entitled for the attempt to make a profit, correct? They're not entitled to a profit. Ohio caps doc fees. I'm as far as saying doc fees should be illegal. I'm that far. I believe doc fees should be illegal. I don't believe a dealer should be able to charge a doc fee. I don't believe a dealership should be able to charge any fee above and beyond the state taxes and registration. I believe that getting an out-the-door price quoted on the website is something that any good, intelligent person could fix in 24 hours, but dealerships act like it's impossible, and mathematically, this is like actually one thing. Getting an out-the-door price is one of the fastest, most efficient things to do, and software can fix this problem so easily, but dealerships like to act like it takes a mathematical equation that only they can solve to get the out the door, and that should be fixed. Oh. If you want to debate anything, you certainly can. Do you believe that all dealerships should be like Tesla? No. Doc fees are like when a restaurant makes a server tip. I mean, I also believe the tip should be illegal too. They'll never win this debate because it's unattainable what is the word you're saying? Untenable position. You inherently can't win a debate for a systematic defense for a rent-sinking emprise. Yes. I also... Do we have somebody? Moment of truth? DM us on Instagram if you want to come up here and debate. I do give you the floor. For the person that says, tell me before they call, just tell them about a call. Yeah, I mean, I guess I believe the tipping culture is out of control. I mean, I guess if you want to give me just an off basis. Yes, we charge dock fees. I call that jet fuel. That doesn't change the fact that I believe it should be illegal. I believe delivered is a net positive for consumers. Tip your car. They burned it. Vince here, shut up. Yeah, I've found when he works at Walmart, but wants to talk about dealerships being valid and making up calls. I will listen to him, but this is a little bit off base. Okay. What's the...
Hi, if you record your name and reason for calling, I'll see if this person is available.
Tommy, delivered, debate a Walmart employee, I guess.
Hello.
Hi, man. I hear you work at Walmart and you want to debate.
Yes, sir.
Your
So,
wind is
just on-
horrible right now, just so you know.
I had just walked outside. That's why I said call before. I know I was trying to rush to my car, but I don't know.
No, you're good. You're good. I'll turn down the mic so it's not so bad for people. Okay. I think you understand the premise here. You can debate me on anything you want. Normally, I only allow car salesmen up here, but it seems like you said you had a good point, so I will let you have your good point.
Yeah, so the best of my understanding, you think it's wrong for dealerships to mark up the price mainly because a lot of consumers are uneducated about like the markups and stuff?
I believe that they shouldn't be able to mark up the price because they have franchise laws that make it the only way to buy a new car is from them, which means they control that pricing in a way that most free markets wouldn't allow. So because of that, they do have a fiduciary duty, or should have a fiduciary duty, to not abuse that process.
Oh, so they do abuse that process. I apologize, and I thought it was more of like you were saying it's wrong for them to mark it up just because a lot of consumers didn't know like about all the add-ons and stuff. So I thought I heard you make that point before.
No, I mean, I don't believe dealerships should be able to charge add-ons, at least not mandatory add-ons.
But like, I guess the way I see it, like, would it be any? I see your point. So I guess the way I was thinking about this was like, if I have a PS5 and I sell it for like, let's say the average price is like $500, but I sell it for like $800.
Sure.
Would you say that's wrong to do it? So if I know that's why I can get it for cheaper, but I'm selling it for a higher price because I'm trying to make extra money, would that be immoral? I guess.
But let's just use your employer, Walmart, right? Walmart isn't upping the price of the PS5 just because there was a crazy, when the PS5 and the Xbox first came out, nobody could get a hold of them. Walmart could have just marked up the rate, a crazy price that nobody buys, so resellers didn't do it, but instead they just sold out. And I believe that dealership should be doing the same thing. If they have a car that's so hot demand, they shouldn't be able to go above and beyond the actual MSRP of the car. But that's because they have no competition. If you were allowed direct to consumer to exist, I don't care what they charge.
Oh, obviously you know way more about this than I do. So to be clear, you're saying it's wrong because there are certain laws that say that these car dealerships can't do it, but they find like a loophole around it.
Yeah, no, I think it's wrong because the only way I can buy a new car is through a dealership. So the government has protected dealerships to make it that's the only way to buy a new car. So if you're going to the government's going to step in and say, hey, this is the only way that you can do this, then they should have certain regulations on them. I don't like the idea of putting regulations on anybody. I would rather just the free market fix all of these problems, but the free market isn't going to fix it because the government won't allow it. So instead, we have to either over-regulate or just allow the free market to exist.
But so wouldn't it make sense, like from a dealership standpoint, that like if it's not being regulated or so laws against it, shouldn't they try to make as much profit as possible then?
Profit is if that's how businesses don't think that way. Businesses think about how do I solve people problem, and if you solve enough problems and make it easier for people, profit is the reward. Profit is the proof that you solve people's problems. The idea that a business is looking at it as how do I make as much money off my consumer as possible, no business survives that way. The only reason dealerships can do that because they don't have real competition. Like Walmart isn't going into every business meeting thinking how do I make more money. They say how do I compete with Target? How do I compete with Aldi's? How do I compete with everybody else? And in doing that, I then make more money. That's the net result of what I've done. But they're not going in saying, how do I make even more money on it? Like that's just not how the CEO of Walmart's thinking.
Okay, well, correct me if I'm wrong because you're far more educated on this than me. But isn't that like kind of how dealerships do work? That like a lot of them do these add-ons and stuff so they can make commission and stuff. Like isn't that actually what they're doing?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they are just charging as much as they can. They will charge as much as they can to the consumer and then work their way down. So they start. I always say the price of the car is the ceiling. It's not the actual price of the car.
Right. But you're saying they don't usually last, and I'm saying there's a lot of dealerships that do that are lasting, right?
Yeah. The reason why they're lasting is there's no competition. Like I can only buy a car from a dealership, but if Toyota could sell me a car, that business model would cease to exist. Because why would anybody ever go through that process when they could just buy the car from Toyota in 10 clicks?
Oh no, I definitely agree with you there. Like for me personally, like I don't make nearly as much money to buy a new car, but if I could, I would either go through you for sure, or I would buy it directly from like the consumer. But I'm just saying, like I do see both sides. Like if I have something I'm trying to sell, I'm gonna try to sell it as much. Like if I know I'm gonna have people buying it, I'm gonna try to sell it as high as possible to make as much profit as possible.
Okay. Yeah, and I get it. And that's just like I said, once you run a business, you learn really quick that that mindset does not work, right? Consumers
Yeah.
see right through it and they're not willing to pay you, right? But that's okay. I mean, that's just something you learn as a business owner. But like, if I've never once in the 3 years that I've run this business ever said, how do I make more money on consumers? Like, that's just not a thought
Yeah.
process. It's how do you solve problems? And when you solve people's problems, the money is the easy part. You make more money than you can handle because you're just solving problems and people are willing to pay you to have their problem solved.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely understand from like a more perspective how like it's kind of like I don't want to say the word. It's kind of like bogus, I guess you could say, to like just try to sell it up just because you know people are gonna buy it. I can understand like how that's seen as taking advantage of someone. I definitely agree with you. I just see both sides, but I know you know way more about business than I do. I've never owned a business. You're far more educated on like I would definitely go through you. I'm a big fan of you. I watch a lot of your videos, so I didn't want to waste too much of your time. But thank you for taking my call.
Hey, appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Yes, sir. You too.
Bye. Okay, next one's gonna be interesting. This one I have from my producer, Anonymous. Now, she says that she vetted them, but they specifically do not want me to know my name, but they did get vetted. I don't know. I don't know if I've seen that one like this before, but we vetted this person. They work there, but they're anonymous, and I'm not allowed to know their name. Interesting.
Hi, if you record your
Tommy.
Hi, how's it going, Anonymous?
Good, brother. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well, doing well. Well, I think you understand the premise is really simple. You get to pick anything you wanted to debate. And if you want to say I'm horrible, mean, and not nice, and just try not to use profanity, if you think I'm a scam, if you think that anything I say you disagree with, you get to pick anything, and then I'll debate from there.
No worries. I heard you say something about dock fees. Was that correct?
Yeah, doc fees should be illegal.
Okay. Why would you think that a dock fee should be illegal?
Because a doc fee is just additional profit, and just like every other business, if you want to make that additional profit, you should just add it to the price of the car. And dealerships are using it as a way to add additional profit without adding it to the price of the car.
So at my dealership, our dock fee is $200, and what that specifically does is it pays our wages for our admin team. To get autos sent to the state, get titles coming from the bank. Would you consider that something you would agree on?
As a business owner, if I charge you $200 as part of the price of the car or $200 as a dock fee, I'm getting the money either way. I believe dealerships should just be able to own up and say, if I need to pay my bills, the price of the car needs to go up $200. So no dock fee, because we're just hiding. Like, I just think about that. Does Walmart charge you a receipt fee to pay for the cashier? Like, they're not paying you a receipt fee to pay for the cashiers. Every business has bills. Every business has admin. My team has admin, right? I don't charge you a dock fee when you work at Deliver. No business does. The only one that's doing it is the dealership.
It's just included in the price, is what you're saying?
Correct. Yeah. You just need to price your product in a way that allows you to have a profit to sustain.
So there's really no difference then if I charge the customer this amount of money for the car and then there's a dock fee. I mean, I could raise it up $200 and just take away the dock fee, is what you're saying?
1,000%. But then as a consumer, I know the price right off the bat. The problem right now is the FTC has regulated that all dock fees need to be a part of the car, but only 30% of dealers are actually doing it. And in your market, it's $200, but and maybe your state mandates it, but in Florida, it's $1,200. So like every market is different. Yeah, and that's where the problem goes in, is there's nothing regulating it, and the idea behind it is people are able. There's a reason why Florida can lower every single price, advertise way lower prices than you, because they have $1,200 of guaranteed profit in every deal. I believe that we should just.
Sense.
Yeah, and I mean it's the same with PACs. I don't believe in PACs either. I believe dealers need to just not try to take their commission from their salespeople if they're going to charge commission. But not nor here nor there. I believe that you should just be able to just add that to the price of the car and just advertise a true price.
Right. So I think on our website, which I'll keep disclosed for now, we have the dock fee on there. It shows, plus $200 for dock fee included in the price. So it shows the price, the dock fee, and then the total price. Mm-hmm. Would you agree on something like that?
I'm fine with that understanding that's what you guys do, but there's no way that the FTC has been able to ever prove that they can get every dealership to actually abide by that.
Right.
So because of
Right.
this, you're just allowing everybody's trying to find a workaround. Everybody's trying to find a secret. If you just made it illegal that you couldn't charge any fees above and beyond the price of the car, it solves this problem tomorrow.
That makes sense. And then I heard you say that salespeople should not be paid commission.
Correct. I believe the commission should be abolished.
Should be what?
Should be about car sales commission should be abolished.
How do you think the salesperson should get paid for their 12-hour, 11-hour days?
I mean, first off, I believe that you should take care of your employees and you shouldn't force anybody to work 12 or 11-hour days if you're not compensating them accordingly, but they should get paid a salary.
Yeah. Okay, and what do you think that salary should be?
Every business is different. If I was to run a dealership, I imagine that salary, I think you can get really good talent around 100 to 125 grand a year. I think you can get some really talented people.
I'm kind of back and forth on the commission. I feel like, you kind of get in what you put out. If you're constantly creating your repeat and referral customers, and I mean, you basically make your own business inside the business.
And and I would argue that actually ends up hurting the dealership model as well. How many people are now doing the same thing with social media, and then once their social media gets to a certain point, they ended up just leaving the dealership that built them as well. Like the business within a business is only benefiting. It goes to this thing where it's a lot of negative,
right?
Because turnover is 80%.
And the dealership.
Yeah. But it ends up hurting the consumer because right now the model rewards people that are super highly aggressive, which is okay, but it ends up giving a bad negative connotation for people who, that could be great employees. There's the talent pool that a car salesman can hire is next to none, right? Most people don't want to get in the car industry because they don't want to do 100% commission. But I've offered $120,000 a year salary. You're going to get some really talented people that would never have considered car sales before, but would now want to get into it. That would outperform the majority of the people in the industry.
You're also going to get a lot of people that are, hey, I can make 125K, selling cars. This can't be that hard, and they're just there for the salary.
This is the problem, is that dealerships hire anybody. So because of that, that's where the mindset is. 95% of the workforce is salaried people. And it's not hard to get rid of people if it doesn't make sense, right? Like this idea that just because you offer a salary,
I feel like it would drag more people in that are not 100% committed just because of the salary.
Then why'd you hire them?
Well, I mean, you could have a fantastic interview with somebody. They could meet all the qualifications, and sometimes they can't be coachable.
Hey, you know what, Mr. Anonymous, I appreciate all the hard work you've done. Unfortunately, it just seems like the work ethic isn't there. Have a nice day. We'll hire somebody else. Like that is not a hard conversation to have. Like in reality, if you don't make it in your 90 days and you prove that, then there's a reason why we can hire and fire, and we're not most of the country's at will. Like that's every job in America, right? Every job in America, yes, somebody can get complacent and not do that, but you also have millions of Americans that work their arse off. And I would argue that
with commission, it doesn't let you get complacent.
I would disagree.
It makes those people realize, hey, I've really got to put my nose into the grindstone, and I've got to go out there and I got to perform. I'm not just going to get paid for selling, 8 cars.
And are you telling me that there's not a 10 or 12 car salesperson that does crazy gross, that makes $100K a year, that is lazy 90% of the month and is able to still make a really good living at 12 cars a month? Like this idea that every car salesman is heavy driven, heavy crazy. There are so many lazy car salesmen that are happy with making 70 or 80K or even 90K. They sell the 10 to 15 cars they need and then they just stop. Being a manager of a dealership, the amount of people I had to coach, type A, type B, they're type B personalities. They made their money. They're happy with where they're at. I'm not pushing them a dime above that, right? But like it's hard to fire those people because in reality, I'm paying them exactly what they're worth, right? But so I can't really push people in that are going to actually push the business forward. I would argue that anybody on my team that are all paid a salary would outperform 95%, I would say 95% of car salesmen on their salary basis.
It's a good point, but it's just hard to see that into the future. Where,
why can't every other business do it?
Unless you put your team against somebody else's team.
I mean, we could just prove it like right now. So Ryan is our newest hire. He was selling He was making $400,000 to $500,000 a year selling cars. He was a top 5 Toyota salesperson in the country. He came into my business and was not the most talented person here. He immediately got overwhelmed with the amount of work that people were doing right beside him. And again, this is one of the top salespeople in the country that joined my team, took a pay cut to be here, and was underperforming by people that are making, that were making 1/4 of what he was making at the dealership, because he didn't have that same skill set and rewarded different behaviors. But this idea behind it that you're going to have and there are people that work hard. Ryan now is proving himself. He had to work harder than he's ever worked to prove himself, to prove that he belonged here. It was this other mindset, because that's the culture we have here at Delivered. Everybody's here for the mission. Everybody's here for the goal. Everybody has a mindset, and everybody works their arse off. Nobody's lazy here, because everybody understands that if you're lazy, you won't have a job here, right? And everybody wants to help our clients. Everybody wants to help our team.
Yeah,
we have a great culture and a great mission.
That makes sense. I get your point. But it's just I don't know. I don't see it in the future ever going to a salary based position.
But I guess, why? Like, if I was, let's just say I fired every single car salesman to ever exist.
A person like myself, I just don't want to be told what I'm worth.
Great, you're fired.
That makes sense. I want to go out there, and I want to make as much as I can, versus being told what I'm worth. Why would I be fired?
Because you're not the right fit for my company's culture. I want people that are all in the same goal. This isn't about you. I'm sorry. We're trying to help our store get out. We're trying to work as a team. And also this mindset allows it. So how willing are you willing to help your teammates, right? Your teammate starts to try to help one of your clients. And because of that, there now becomes this argument between two people. You end up getting frustrated at people trying to negotiate car deals because they're taking money out of your pocket. The idea now becomes everything about me, not the consumer. And that consumer is the only person that matters. We should be doing everything we can to help the consumer.
At the end of the day is the only person that matters. But at the end of the day, you have to take care of your team first before you're, you got to make sure that your team is taking care of the customers.
You've got to take care. You have to build a mindset and a culture that takes care of consumers. The idea that you put your team again, that you put your customer first every single time.
Customer first every single time, but you have to have the right people in place to take care of your customers every single time.
But why does that require a commission basis? Let me just ask you a hypothetical. I pay you $250,000 a year tomorrow. I say, hey, you know what? No more commission. I pay you $250,000. How much are you making right now?
I don't feel comfortable saying. I got a couple sales guys watching.
Sure. Well, okay. I'll just throw it. If I hypothetically paid you $250,000, let's just say $400,000 a year. I'll go something crazy. Let's say I pay you tomorrow. I'm gonna have you sell cars. I'm gonna pay you $400,000 a year starting tomorrow. Are you gonna work? Are you gonna be lazier?
No.
Would I make an argument that you might even work harder because the money is so good and the culture is so great? I'll give you weekends off too.
Yeah.
Not only will I give you weekends off, but if you ever want to work remotely, I'll find a way to do that for you. And however much you want to make. Let's just say you want to make $800K. I'll help you career path, and we'll build a role for you at my company so you can do exactly that. Would you work less?
I would work harder, but that situation just isn't there in this time and place that
Great, get rid of them all.
Get rid of who all?
Dealership owners that don't believe that.
Well, if we get rid of dealership owners that don't believe, I mean, it's just there's so many different variables and factors that go into that, investing in your employees. But yeah, I mean, you make a good argument. It's just there's a gray line in between us here.
Yeah, I mean, the idea behind it is you're saying you can't do that, right? There's plenty of industries that have said you can't.
You definitely can. You definitely can. Yeah, you definitely can.
But like that's where the mindset is, right? Like this is where this is a beautiful thing about the free market, right? Like if I create that business model, let's just say I create a dealership model tomorrow, and that's how I treat my team. How many super talented car salesmen are going to leave their job to come work with me? And now dealerships are going to struggle to even keep employees, because why would anybody work for 100% commission when they can work for Delivered and they make 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever that number is, right? And I get work-life balance. I get to build my own career. I mean, this is the problem. That's what competition does. The free market and the job market, everybody would want to work for Delivered, or whatever dealership does that.
Yeah, that makes sense. I do see your point there, but it's just a world where we live in now where that I feel like the next 30 years, it's always going to be a commission. I just don't I don't. I mean, unless you are able to sit every single dealership owner in a large room and say, "Hey, this is our business model," then I don't think it'll happen.
Yeah, but here's the beautiful thing is I don't need to get everybody into a room. I just need to create a business
For
model
sure.
that's so disruptive that they cannot be profitable unless they do it. But the beautiful thing about dealerships and business owners is if things become less profitable, they're going to find ways to change. And if I built a business model that
Yeah,
was
that
so
makes
competitive,
sense.
let's just say Delivered ends up doing 2, 3, 4,000 deals a month. We end up making a huge impact, and nobody wants to work at the dealership model anymore. Everybody's moving over to Delivered. They have to find ways to compete. Otherwise, they just fail to exist.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. What are some other things?
What other things you got? I mean, like I said, I believe.
Well,
Like I said,
no, you were ripping them off 20
what
minutes
other?
ago or so.
I believe Delivered is a net positive for consumers. I believe that we already said doc fees. We already did that. I went through and said that I believe marking up rates should be illegal. I believe direct to consumer would make things cheaper, more efficient, and make dealerships more money. That's normally a pretty controversial one that people like to debate on. What else?
There was another one. I just couldn't remember exactly what it was.
Those are the major one. Trying to think of anything. Marking up rate should be legal. I think I already said that one. But
no, I think that it was the market adjustment. I do stick with you on the market adjustment at our dealership. Our owner, we've got 6 dealerships, and we did not during COVID. We did not do one market adjustment over MSRP just because we just it's not taking care of the customer.
yeah, and that's like I said, that's where a lot of people believe. But like I said, I don't believe the majority of dealers are, but I believe that there are some.
There was some around us in our market area
Yeah.
that were marking it up, and it made it a lot easier for us. I mean, we're still buying maybe 1,000 behind MSRP or maybe MSRP, but still no market adjustment. We could have made hundreds of thousands of dollars if we did that, but we just decided to not do that.
I get it. No worries. If you don't have anything else to debate, then I'm gonna move on to the next person. I don't want to try to just find things to debate on. But if you think of something you hear, you can call back up.
I get it.
And we'll get you on the
Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
No problem,
And,
Anonymous. Talk to you later. Bye. All right, okay, we got another person that wants to debate. Justin here. Anybody who wants to debate, just DM us on Instagram. Ideally, you disagree with me, guys. I really want to find people that disagree with me. That's the idea. I don't care how, there's a lot of people that are in chat, like Art, that keeps saying, you're blah, like he keeps talking about this commission. Art, if you want to disagree with me, you can, right? Like Art, I would argue that I am a top 1% salesperson in every industry that I've done, in sales and finance, and now running a business. I still believe this. I built my entire career off commissions, and I believe this. So if you want to debate, Art, you certainly can. Just come up here and make the argument. And remember, you seem like a motivated car salesman. You should be able to defeat me in a simple debate. But I have a feeling you're not going to DM me, because why would you?
Hello.
Hey, is this Justin?
Speaking.
Justin, it's Tommy from Delivered. How's it going?
Good. How's it going, Tommy?
Doing well, man. Well, the debate is I think the idea is really simple. You get to pick any topic you want, debate me on it, rock and roll. I'll let you talk, but you can say I'm horrible, mean. You think the whole thing's a scam? You get the free floor.
Awesome. So my question or my debate would be, if the consumer paid, let's say, a commission towards the salesperson of $1,000, and then that salesperson worked to get them the best deal and basically did your job, obviously you would be obsolete, clearly, but wouldn't that still mean commission would still be viable?
I don't think you could get the idea of consumers. One of the benefits of Delivered, right, is we're a completely third party that is not we're not a part of the dealership model. I have no motivation for you to buy a car at dealer A, B, or C. If I pay my salesperson, it doesn't matter how much. Sometimes there's a dealership that will not go as low as what the market will say. They'll go as low as they think they will. But we're also arguing that a salesperson that has no control in pricing whatsoever is going to be able to manipulate the scales. And like, I mean, that's the other argument is car salesmen don't even manipulate car prices. So I can pay you $1,000, but if your manager says no, are you now going to call 10 other dealers to like try to give me a price, or are you just going to give me the best price your manager gives me?
Right, but that would be the incentive for number one, a relationship to be built, because I'm assuming you build a relationship with your customers. That way they can not only justify to save time, money, and anxiety about buying a car, but also the relationship that you build with them. So that would be the same thing that a consumer would do with a salesperson, which would then kind of get rid of the scumminess of it. It would take
No, I mean,
$1,000
so
basically.
a relationship is not something that we ever talk about here at Delivered. We're here to do a job. People are consulting, and we're going through. We're going to make it the best car buying experience of your life. But I'm going to show you with data why you should trust us. I'm not showing you with good feelings and relationships, and I'm here to look out for you. I'm going to show you the 47 dealers that we called and all of the numbers from those 47 dealers and put that all in front of you and be like, okay, this is why you should trust us, because you wouldn't have done this. And guess what? Most people will be like, oh, shoot, you called 47 dealers? I wouldn't have done that. That makes a pretty good point. But again, when you only have one dealer you're working for, the amount of people that are in my comment section, when I ask for 10% off a car and they say, that's insane, no dealer would ever do that. Yet I always get the price I asked for, because guess what? That's the market on the price. I'm not just making up numbers. Relationships mean nothing to the consumer. They mean everything for a dealership.
I mean, I do and don't agree with that, because of the fact that, I mean, I sold a vehicle to somebody that he owns his own collision shop. And without that relationship that I built with him, when I sold him his truck, I wouldn't have taken my own personal vehicle to him to have repaired. And he's moving to Tennessee. Like, we talk. I mean, I'm retired out of the business now, but like, that relationship still lives on beyond the dealership. So, I mean, I know I'm taking a small piece of, I'm just one person that has one relationship with one customer, but if it's one, then there's got to be more than just me.
Yeah, but like, I don't know how many cars you sell in this hypothetical world, but how many of them are you best friends that you're talking with? And I think if consumers could trade all of that, just have an easier car buying process, they would. I'm glad you're friends with one of your customers. That's nice. I'm friends with a few of my customers as well. That doesn't mean like the consumer shouldn't pay for that. That should just be, you did good business, I did good business, let's do good business together. Not like, to me, it's almost insulting that you're now only using his service because he bought something from you. It's transactional rather than being, I would never want anybody to use my service because I use theirs. I want people to use my service because it's a damn good service and they would love it. Like, and that's it. Like, but I didn't need to pay for friends.
Well, no, and there was, I mean, it wasn't because of that. It was because of, like, I wouldn't have, number one, I wouldn't have maybe used him if it wasn't for him buying a car from me, but also then continuing on to refer him to other people. I mean, obviously, you know, the best type of marketing is the word of mouth and the referral business. I mean, so that's where I think it's maybe 20% of your deals. Maybe you try and get that relationship. The 80% is just simply transactional. But again, I think if you try hard enough, people buy from people. At the end of the day, people just want a good deal and they want to get the car and go. So, I mean,
you can't have both, right? You can't have both. You said people buy from people,
exactly,
but they want to buy a car and get a good deal and go. It's really one or the other. I believe that's two different customers. Some people, I don't disagree, want a relationship. They want that, and I believe that's where the dealership model exists. But I also believe there's plenty of people that, and I would believe the vast majority that do not care about the relationship. That, again, this relationship is something that dealerships oversell. Like this idea that you are like, I just don't think consumers gain. Sure, this one business owner gained some referrals from you. That's great. But like, this is such a niche example. This isn't the vast majority. If I don't have a business, can I now not get any benefit from our relationship? Like, it's just like what am I going to gain if I don't own a business and I don't do like, and it does. And a beautiful thing, it was a business that related to car sales. If I'm just an employee at Walmart, what do I gain?
I mean, the way I was thinking about it was, when you're returning back as a return customer, you know you're going to have with the same salesperson that you've built a relationship with.
Maybe, but 80% of people
like
fail in their
that.
first year. So the chances are, luckily, if I have somebody in the next time, but like, I'm glad you've lasted a long time, but 80% of people fail or quit in their first year.
Right, but you're also wanting the top salesperson if you want to switch from commission to salary. So more than likely, those are established salespeople that have been there long enough to establish those relationships.
So no new car salesman can ever get into the industry because they don't have the experience, so nobody should buy from them.
Well, no, they have to just beat the 80% of the rest of the market.
But like what? So like I try to go to your dealership. The top salesman's busy. The only person available is somebody that's been there for 6 months. Like this idea that like now I'm like just gonna just hope and pray. Even though it's my once every 6 years I got to buy a car, I might get that relationship. I might not get that relationship. But then again, what does me working with the same person? If I go to Best Buy and buy a computer, and I go there 2 years later to buy a computer, what benefit as a consumer do I have that I'm working with the same person?
Well, maybe not Best Buy as an example, but if you're at a car dealership, hopefully that you're going to be getting a good deal like you did the last time.
Well, why am I not getting a good deal out of the gate? Like, what business doesn't give me a good deal?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So if you get a good deal on the first one, because more than likely, if you're
but
not
I don't have the
using your
relationship
service,
with you. So how am I going to get a good deal if I don't have the relationship?
Well, because you'd have to be an educated car buyer.
If you're not an educated car buyer
then,
and not trust you, and then once I do that, now trusting you, and now the second car, I get the good deal?
So you're saying every time at a car deal, you should be educated? Like the salesperson should educate the consumer?
I'm saying that there's zero benefit here. Like if I go to a dealership, let's just say hypothetically, let's just say I go to the dealership and I'm buying a car from you, and I go and say, you know what, I trust you full-heartedly. I will buy whatever you recommend. You sell me everything. It's a slam dunk deal. 4 years later, I come again. I do the same thing. I'll buy whatever you tell me to. You sell me everything. I do this 5 times. What time on the 6th time where you're like, dude, this guy's overspending like crazy. He trades every 4 years and he's getting a 7-year warranty. We need to stop this. Like, is there a certain point where you're now looking out for the consumer's money and saying, whoa, 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 like you shouldn't be buying this? Or are you just going to keep slam dunking that deal?
$1,000.
What?
Give me $1,000 off the rip, and I'll make sure you get a good deal because that's what you do.
So you just said that I have to buy 5 cars from you, and unless I pay you $1,000, you're not going to look out for me?
Yes, I know the saving money is a byproduct of what you do. I watch your videos a ton. I love what you do, but I'm just saying, if you get $1,000, then why shouldn't I get $1,000 to make sure you get a good deal?
Because you haven't earned it. And you know what? Here's the beautiful thing about America. If you believe you're worth $1,000, nobody can talk to any car salesman at your dealership unless they pay $1,000 to work with them. How many people are going to go to your dealership and buy a car? The answer is 0.
Right, but what we're saying is we're getting rid of commission.
But what you're saying is it's $1,000, right? The idea behind it is if you believe you're worth $1,000, preach. I love this idea. Before anybody talks to a car salesman ever, they have to pay $1,000 to work with you, to have that's what people do for me. They pay $1,000 before they ever talk to anybody, just for the privilege to work with us. Like that's what people do, and people see the value, so they do that. So I'm all for car salesmen doing it. How long do you think that dealership runs? How many sales do you think they can convince to pay $1,000 before they even talk to anybody?
Not long, obviously.
Because you haven't earned $1,000. You have no trust to the consumer. So like I'm failing to understand why it matters that I made $1,000 if you didn't make $1,000, right?
Well, my whole point is, if at the end of the day I could get somebody the same deal that you're getting them, and whether if I'm on salary or mainly I'm going after the commission part of this. Why don't I get the $1,000 when it's going to be a mini deal anyway for me?
Many different reasons. First off, you haven't started your own business doing this yourself. The idea is that you have to get a consumer to openly be willing to do that, which means you have to gain trust. So the idea behind it is I don't get the $1,000 just because I exist. I get the $1,000 because I've earned trust and I've built a model that people want to use because it skips the dealership process. I've solved their problems. Because I've solved their problems, they're like, oh yeah, I don't want to deal with this person. And honestly, they don't want to deal with somebody that thinks this way, right? Rather than saying like, how do I get them? Like most business owners would say, how do I get Tommy out of the picture and get them to stop paying him $1,000? You're thinking, well, Tommy's making $1,000, so how do I get him out of the picture and me make the money he's making? Like this is why this is why the dealership model is so antiquated, because that's the way you're thinking. It should be, how do I solve so many problems that nobody ever wants to use Delivered again? Because you would be an idiot to hire Delivered because it's that easy to buy a car from me.
All right, that's fine.
What's funny?
Nothing. No, you're right.
All right, well, I appreciate that. All right, well, that's all you got?
That's all I got.
Okay, man. It was a good one, man. You made some good points. I appreciate it.
Thanks, man. You too. Bye.
Bye. He tried. I haven't had anybody ever just admit they lost. I will give him props for just admitting it was over. Okay, we got more people, I think. If you want to debate us, by all means, come on the live. We got more people. We got another mic, but apparently it's not the mic. Everybody wants to know if your name is Mike. It's not the mic. I'm having fun. I will say, guys, I know that everybody wants to phone call. It's not everybody. But I'm going to get my fan because this room gets so hot with these lights. So let me get my fan real quick. I'll be right back. Oh my gosh, it gets so hot in here. Sorry, guys, I'm like sweaty because these lights are so bright and they just get bam. Okay, ready for next one? Boom.
Hi, if you record your name and reason for calling, I'll see if this person is available.
Tommy. Tommy, hi, how's it going?
What's going on, Tommy? How you doing?
Hey, man, I'm doing well. I think you understand the premise. It's really simple. You can disagree with everything you want, anything you want. You think I'm a scam artist, horrible. You think I'm the worst thing in the industry. If you think I'm fat, I don't know. Whatever you want to do. You can say anything you want. The floor is yours. I won't cut you off unless you use derogatory or bad language.
Understandable. So, basically, my moral of having an argument with you is I used to sell cars about 2 years ago at Volkswagen and Macon. I was one of the top tier. When I left the dealership, I'd had a couple questions that would never get answered. And I guess the moral of this conversation to be, it's not really a debate. It's trying to see if you can explain something to me and if we can debate about it as well.
Sure.
But long story short, Tommy, APRs, right? Annual percentage rates. Dealerships always have them. They're always going to have them no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
If a dealership is running zero APR for X amount of days on X amount of certain vehicles, and it's got to be a top tier vehicle, why do they always have to tag on some type of percentage rate at the bottom of the little writing?
You're talking about like in the fine print? Like if it's
Yes.
0%, why do they have a fine print?
Yes. Like, why do they have? If you're going to tell somebody that it is fully zero APR, why are you tagging on a 3 or a 7 to make some type of kickback?
Well, they shouldn't be marking up a 0%. I don't know what manufacturer would allow marking up a 0%. But they shouldn't. Like, I mean, they shouldn't mark up rate. But I will say, like, in the fine print of what you're disclosing, like, if you're talking about 0%, you look at any manufacturer website, you're gonna see that because that's part of there's a law that they have to advertise that you pay this much interest for this amount of $1,000 you spend if you finance it. That's just like a basic law. But just if you're paying 0%, there should be almost no way to mark that rate up.
All right. Thank you for clarifying that. Second thing, I'm not going to keep you long because I'm at work myself. Finance charges. Okay, say you buy a vehicle, right? Vehicle's like $22,000 some odd dollars. Say it's for a pickup truck or something like that. And they want to tag on a $15,000, $17,000 finance charge on top of $3,000 interest based on what an interest rate comes back from your credit score. Why can dealerships tag on that much of a finance charge when, you know, I mean, I don't know what I'm getting at. I know what I'm
No,
getting
I
at.
know.
with it,
I believe what you're
fully
saying
say
should
it.
be illegal. I don't believe the dealership should be able to mark up rate at all. I believe they act as if they have a fiduciary duty, and the finance manager should not have a payment model that rewards him to convince somebody to be in a worse financial position with an interest rate. Every other industry has banned this and not made it legal. In 2013, the Frank Dodd Act should have eliminated this, but NADA ended up fighting it and got dealerships excluded from the Frank Dodd Act. So basically, there's no other industry that the more interest or the worse their terms get, the more I get paid. That only happens in the car industry right now.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, Tom. I appreciate taking a little bit of your time, man, and I appreciate you talking to me, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. That was great. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Later, man.
Bye. I was expecting a debate, but that's okay. That's okay. If you want to debate me, by all means, like Art is talking a lot of crap in the comment section. Like, he certainly can come up here and debate, but I think he's just nervous. I think he's just nervous. I get it. Some people are keyboard warriors, right? They're just really nervous. Talking to somebody as handsome and tall and good looking as Tommy can be intimidating. I get it. I mean, you have a free reign to come up here, Art, and you're refusing. I mean, it kind of speaks volumes. I get it. I'm intimidating. 6'4".
Hello.
Hi, this is Tommy from Delivered. How's it going?
Good, buddy. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well,
Give me
man. I
one
think you
sec.
understand the premise of the debate series. It's really simple.
One
You got to
second,
pick.
sorry.
Oh, sorry.
All right, I'm back.
Okay, cool. I think you understand the debate series. You can debate any topic you want. You can say I'm horrible, mean. You can say I'm the scam artist. You can say whatever you want. The floor is yours. Anything you want to debate, I'll debate you on.
I wish I could, but I think I agreed with half of what you said as you debated. So the gentleman kind of proved your point, or you proved your point with shit. I'm a little nervous. Sorry. Most of the guys, even for tacking on fees, there's a base fee. And if you just put it on the base price of the vehicle, I think it goes from both sides of the desk. The consumer wants to see what's on the vehicle, what he's actually paying for.
Mm-hmm.
And the other half don't care, just put in the price, give me my price, and move on with their day.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Most of the stuff you said kind of changed my mind. I mean, if you did it that way, just speed up the process.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think just selling the car at a certain price, not negotiating at all, should be very fast to buy a car. There shouldn't be any changing at all.
And I think when we were talking about Carvana and CarMax going to sell your car there,
mm-hmm.
for the most part, I think they just want you to get through the door, but have you buy a car from them. And when you buy a car from them, they're tacking on all those extra fees, no?
No, Carvana CarMax doesn't. What Carvana CarMax does is basically says dealerships suck so badly that you will spend thousands of dollars more to buy a car to not deal with that process. And that's what they bet. And they're 1,000% right. People are willing to spend thousands of dollars more per car to not deal with the dealership model. They're not tacking on fees. They're just charging insane amounts for their cars that aren't worth it, right? But they're not like charging fees or anything crazy. They're pretty transparent. You can buy a car in 10, 20 clicks on Carvana CarMax.
I agree, but I mean, they're putting in the price of the car because when I search, for example, like a 14X5 with 80,000 miles, you see Carvana's got one for at the cheapest 17 grand.
Yeah.
If you go nationwide through another website like Car Gurus, you search the same exact car, you're finding it for 9, 10, 11 grand, depending on the condition.
Yeah, and then now you make the argument, is that actually 9, 10, 11 grand? Does the dealership have reconditioning fees, add-on fees above and beyond that? You don't really know. But yeah, I 1,000% agree that a dealership pricing will be cheaper, but Carvana and CarMax will still sell that car and they won't lower the price because they believe that's what it's worth. And the only time they'll lower the price is if they're lowering the price for everybody.
So we can pretend, and we should definitely pretend we go that route. That car on Car Gurus for 10 grand, there's an extra $2,000 in fees. All right, now it's 12 grand. You're still 5 grand cheaper. Still leaves you room for a $1,000 service for you to go check it. You do your due diligence. Hey, is this what the price is? What exactly am I getting for the car, and what is actually entailed in that price?
Sure. I mean, we don't do used cars, but I understand your premise. But like, let's just say that we were able to go through and a direct to consumer model would exist, and more people were like Carvana, CarMax. The market would fix itself. Like the reason why Carvana and CarMax can price their cars so aggressively, and by that I mean so like offensively high, is because people are willing to use them because they don't want to deal with the dealership. If I could buy a car as efficiently and easy as I could at Carvana CarMax for $8,000 less, that would be a great business model. I mean, people would line up through the door. I mean, the reason why Carvana CarMax are successful is people don't want to deal with the dealership.
I'm not sure exactly how you see it that way, because otherwise most of the dealerships would have closed down by now.
Well, no, it's Carvana CarMax understands their audience. They're not selling to everybody. There's some people that still want a good quote unquote deal and are willing to go through the process. Also, Carvana CarMax don't sell the most reliable like cars, right? Their cars are not the best. They have a bad reputation. They've screwed people over on titles. Carvana CarMax isn't like a perfect business model, but the idea behind it is if I made it easier to buy a car and gave you good quality, then you're going to be more likely to actually buy from that service than something that's harder and more expensive. But Carvana CarMax realized that there was a gap in the market, that it's so hard to buy a car that we can charge a premium for it and we will make a very profitable business. Carvana CarMax also can't sell new cars. Carvana is now able to, and they're getting into that field. They're actually dominating that field in a lot of ways, but like this is still very new where they're getting into the new car market and dominating the new car market. But I mean, this is like, again, Carvana CarMax has definitely put a huge hit onto dealerships that are in that local market, but they can't change the industry overnight or even in 10 years.
I mean, I kind of agree. I kind of just disagree. But I mean, with everything else you said, by the time I messaged you, I kind of agree. The way you do it that way is just a lot easier. I think the guy that mentioned the APR on every deal, not on the hidden the agenda, but for example, if you're financing a used car, even a new car, if it's not, for example, like Toyota getting Toyota financing, but through Capital One,
sure.
Why wouldn't the consumer just go directly to Capital One, get their loan, come back, here's the check for like a total agreed upon price, let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, a few different reasons. First off, Capital One won't even allow you to do that. You can't even go to Capital One. You have to go through a dealership to do that. That's the only way. Cap One, but I understand.
Example, but you know what I mean. Like
yeah, I understand your premise.
Credit,
but I want to make sure just so people know in the audience. But first off, you have to trust that the dealership will allow that. Secondly, the reason why is that consumers do naturally want to trust the person they're buying a car from. And if I hear the words, I have the best finance department in the world, they work with so many different banks, they'll get you the best rate possible, all you have to do is work with them, you assume that person has a fiduciary duty. Why in the world would I not work with them? It's easier, faster, and they'll get me a cheaper rate. That's what they're told. But in reality, that's not what they're actually doing. They are trying to find the most profitable deal for them that makes the most sense, not what's the lowest rate and what makes the most sense for you. So they act as if they have a fiduciary duty, but they don't. So consumers naturally trust them because they don't know better.
I understand that point. To me, it seems a little gullible to believe the first thing somebody tells you. I always tell
but
somebody,
it's not the first thing. It's 4
door,
hours. It's 4 hours of them going back and forth with that person, and this is the person they finally said yes to. So that person has built enough trust to say, hey, trust the next person. That person's going to take care of you. And why would anybody lie about having a fiduciary duty? It's illegal to lie about having a fiduciary duty.
Right. I understand that point. So if you're financing it, why wouldn't the dealer be able to charge that extra 2% on the APR from what they got if they're going through your financing company?
Why shouldn't they be able to?
Oh, yeah. Why wouldn't the dealers be allowed to do that? Why do you disagree with that?
Yeah, I disagree with that because dealerships act as if they have a fiduciary duty. The amount of finance managers that will go, or salespeople that say, you should work with my finance office because we're the best. We work with multiple different banks. We'll get you the best rate. That's fiduciary language, and that you cannot use that type of language and not have a fiduciary duty because the consumer is expected. You're not allowed to lie about having a fiduciary duty, but dealerships were able to get around this and still skate by this all the time. Like the Frank Dodd Act in 2013 made it illegal to tie commissions to raising somebody's rates. So what that essentially means is that a mortgage officer can't have you come in there, them see a 5% rate and say, you know what, I'm going to charge this person 7% and I'm going to make more money off of it. That doesn't work in that industry, but in a dealership, they can. So they're able to act as if they have a fiduciary duty and act like they're working for you, when in reality, they don't have to do what's best for you at all. They can do what's best for them.
Yeah, anybody that says they can get you the best is a con artist, and you should automatically just walk out the door. That should never be the way. You're not wrong about that, but the customer should always have the right, and I'm not going to say like obligation, but they should always have the right to go and use their own financing for a company and not have to go through the circus. But if they go through the circus, I don't see the issue, because I also agree with the salesman shouldn't have a commission. They should have a base rate, and hopefully it's enough to suffice with your life. If it's not, then go find a new job. You should do what you like, and not everybody gets that chance to do that.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
if you actually do, you actually get to talk to a salesman that actually, wants to point you in the right direction, wants to put you in the right car, and, be happy the next time you come in and be like, hey, I need a car for my daughter now.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand. I would agree, get rid of the commission, have enough salary that your salesman can actually eat, live, and take their wife and kids to dinner.
Yeah, I mean, I believe in the salary piece for sure.
But then when you go to a realtor, they can have that. And somebody mentioned, I don't know if it was you or in the chat, the 3% commission. The most realtors I've talked to have been between 5, 10, some wackos at 15%.
No, and they've limited that down. I want to say it's there's a max. I want to say I thought it was 2.5%. I could be wrong, but there's no realtor, because it might be a 6% total. Maybe it's 3 and 3. But like there's a max that can be made now, and it has to be disclosed on your closing document. So like when I bought my house recently, I saw exactly how much was paid on both sides.
Okay, I think I am understanding you, but I'm not sure why I was told those numbers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I have no idea. Yeah, they can only make 2.5 or 3%. They can't make 15%. That'd be insane.
I believe you. I would agree. That's where I'm saying that if they can make an extra 2% on the APR, that they're getting you the financing, and they got to do all the work to get you the financing, and they have to deal with the risks of you not paying and all that extra on top. And there are a bunch of hidden fees that the bank sends you when you try to do a loan that you have to deal with that wasn't already in that implied price for the vehicle.
Yeah, I think we're mixing up two different things. Like a bank can't go through and add additional points in order to get paid on something more. So what a credit union can do, credit unions can mark up the rate naturally as part of the business, but they can't actually do that to increase their own pay. What that means, they can go through a credit file, evaluate that, and say, we buy this rate at 4%, we're going to do it at 5%. But the person actually doing your loan does not make any more or less money if you pay a 4 or 6% rate or 27% rate. So like, there's no like hidden fees on that side. But I mean, I understand what you're talking about with like product.
Well, as in like the bank cannot charge the consumer the loan fee, but they can charge the dealer a loan fee. Is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. So are you talking about like for like a special credit situation, like a subprime?
You could be in general. It could be a prime.
But like a subprime would be like a dealer could like a bank could charge a dealer a subprime fee, but they couldn't charge a consumer.
Like a flat rate fee, you can call it.
But like that's like if you're talking about like indirect consumer or indirect lending, dealerships can be charged that by the lender, but the consumer can't pay those. Like you can't charge the consumer that fee from indirect lending.
Correct, and then you could try to make that back on that 2% on the loan, on the APR.
Sure, yeah. I mean, this is a whole different business. I mean, sure. I mean, in
But if
theory,
you getting rid of that, then you take away the opportunity, not that just the opportunity, but the actual profit you got from that vehicle.
sure.
I'm talking from the used car
Yeah, then
side.
just tell them I have no fiduciary duty. Have them sign a form that says, just so you know, you can go get your own financing if you want. This is not, you can go buy this car with your own, but this is the best we got, and we're marking up your rate 2 points because X, Y, and Z. But you just need to disclose it.
I don't disagree with that, but your argument was to get rid of it completely, to make that illegal for
Correct.
to
If
do
you
that,
made
to
it
do that.
illegal, then banks wouldn't be able to do what they're doing with charging the fees because they wouldn't be able to survive. So the banks would have to adapt. It would be really, I mean, the reason why banks charge a fee for subprime is they know you're marking up the rate. But if you couldn't mark up the rate all of a sudden, that would change their entire business model.
Yeah, but dude, that would the consumer would have to be paying for that because they're just gonna mark up the rate even more on the
Incorrect.
consumer.
Banks don't want the consumers to pay for it.
What was that?
Banks don't want the consumer to pay for it. Like I was in finance. Like one of the things that is a no-no and every bank will shut down immediately is the consumer paying a bank fee. Like that just does not exist. And they get any subprime deal, they're going to get surveyed and they're going to get asked about that. And if you say yes, they'll shut down that loan.
No, I mean as in like the consumer would have been originally getting a 20% loan or a 15% loan, but now they're getting a 17 or a 24%.
Okay.
You know, somebody's going to have to pay for that. It would have to go somewhere, and they're going to sneak that into the consumer end because the consumer's already getting the loan. What's an extra 1,000 or whatever it is? I don't know. By the math.
Yeah, I mean, but again, the dealer, like their protection, the Frank Dodd Protection Act doesn't allow the bank to do that. The bank cannot mark up the rate just to make more money. Like that's not how it works. They have to. There's so many regulations, so the bank can't do this already. Now, what the bank can do is sell the dealership the loan, and the dealership can do it because they excluded themselves out of the Frank Dodd. But like that's how that would work. But the bank can't. If we make that illegal, the banks now can't jump in and do it because it's already illegal for the banks to do it.
Isn't that what the bank already doing with the 20% making the money?
No, the mortgage officer makes no more money if you sign for a 5% loan versus a 20% loan. They make if they're paid any commission at all, which plenty are, they get paid off the total amount of the loan. So if you sign a $20,000 loan, they get paid a percentage of that $20,000. But it doesn't matter the terms of your loan.
The bank or the dealer you're talking about?
The bank.
Okay. Okay. All right. I guess that would be all. I'm not sure if there's anything else because I agree with almost everything you said. There's nothing great about being shady. You'll never get business again. We've been in business for a very, very long time just by being transparent, like you said. There's nothing that beneficial being hiding and stingy. The first thing you should say, and it's kind of like what you do. You call a bunch of people, you get the best price. We kind of try to price it at the very bottom, and then you take the car, have it go for a ride, take it to a mechanic. And I'm not a mechanic, so I can't promise you the world, just like a finance man should never promise you the best rate.
Sure. Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm going to let somebody else jump on, but I appreciate you jumping on, man.
Hey, thank you. Take care.
Okay, bye. All right, guys, I'm going to give you some debate points. First off, just for art, I believe the dealership model is just for art because I read one of his comments. I believe that the dealership model in its current state is anti-capitalism. So I'll leave that one there for you to debate. It will give you that debate because you said that you don't believe in this Marxist idea that I have. I would believe that my idea is a million times more free market and capitalistic than any dealership model in today's world. And I would say it's arguably communist the way that the dealership model is run, or at the very least an oligarchy that is allowed to exist. What else do we believe? We believe that marking up rates should be illegal. I believe we should get rid of dealerships. I believe direct to consumers would make car buying better. It would make dealerships more money. It would make it faster, and everybody wins in that process. I believe delivered is a net positive for consumers. I believe you should never trust a car salesman. Anything you want to debate, I'm certainly willing to go. Anything that Art says, I will debate him on any of those things. I believe Chevy Dude is a narcissist and a pathological liar. And I believe car salesmen are so undertrained that 99.9% of them do not understand the industry at all. And they act like they know the industry, which is why they can't debate me on this series, because they get shown how quickly they don't understand the industry in 2 seconds. There's a whole bunch of things. Okay, I'm gonna call the next person. We got a few people. I have grade your. This is terrifying. Okay, this better not be an advertisement. I will hang up on you if this is an advertisement.
Hi, if you record your name and reason for calling, I'll see if this person is available.
Tommy, delivered.
Hello.
Is this John?
Yes.
Hi, John. It's Tommy from Delivered. How's it going?
Hey, doing great. Doing good. Hey, I have a couple questions for you.
Okay.
Regarding,
Shoot them away. I think you understand the premise already.
I do. Lease or buy? Like we have a lot of. I guess you're guys on the new side of things. What do you recommend as far as today, leasing or buying?
Depends on who you are.
Now let me ask you this question. Now, I've been in the business a long time, and you've been in the business a little bit. You're obviously smart. So I'm just saying to you, would you advise a customer at all to say, hey, with the way technology is in these cars, I know you put even a lot of miles on them, but the technology, they're like the cell phone, right? So doesn't it make sense to lease instead of buy now today?
No. Because technology relatively is pretty reliable. Like this idea, I mean, this is just a scare tactic by dealerships. Like the idea that even it's less than I think it's less than 15% of cars are going in the first 7 years due to a technology failure. I think it's even less if you take it after 3 years. So you're most likely having an issue in the first 3 years if you're going to have an issue, and then after that, it's pretty solid. But like, yes, cars are more expensive to repair. But it's like this idea that cars are a ticking time bomb at 5 years is just like a finance dreams sales tactic. There's no stats or statistics to back this up.
Yeah, you want them coming back. The second, I appreciate you answering questions. Now you have an interesting business model, I think, because you don't call yourself a broker, which it's a shitty word, a broker. No, it's like a demeaning word almost. So I understand you don't want to be in that category. You're more of a purchase agent kind of when you take an interest in the customer. But what turned you so jaded? Now I'm in the business 40 years. I'm retired, man.
Mm-hmm.
But I look at you as a jaded young man from the car business. I mean, a lot of your stuff makes sense, and shame on the car business for letting a guy like you sneak in their business because they didn't give a shit about their customers. So I understand there's a need, right? Especially after COVID. Nobody knew what they were doing. Everybody stopped selling. And really, before COVID, they didn't know what they were doing. And everybody just got worse. But I want to ask you, I mean, I know you said you work F&I. But, what happened to you, man, at a car dealership to make you turn like this?
Turn like this, I understood that consumers deserve better. I think it's crazy that it took a middleman to fix a middleman's problems. I believe that consumers, like this is once I really was able to take a step back and realized how crazy it is. I have people like Art in the comment section, people that believe that they are entitled to people's money just because they exist. The dealership model is so antiquated, and they are 1,000%. The majority of them are not looking out for consumers. No business model would survive. I want to solve a problem. I'm jaded that millions of Americans. One second, don't worry, I'll let you get in. I'm jaded because I believe millions of Americans are getting screwed over because dealerships aren't trying to do what's best for them, and they're living in a business model that's 40 years old.
Yeah, the thing of it is I'm just saying to you that, like I said, I think your service when like I said, I'm out of the car business, right?
Yeah.
But I was in it for 40 years, so my son is still in it. But the thing I'm saying to you, what intrigues me about this whole thing is you seem like, in other words, if you worked for somebody, did you try to go to the dealer you worked for and said, hey man, this is pretty fucked up? Why don't we try this thing? You said you're an F&I manager.
Sure.
And you don't really strike me as a guy that would go work for anybody. You probably did your homework, you and your wife before you took a job in the car business 3 years ago. I'm just saying to you that, are you qualified to tell people out there? I'm just asking. I'm not criticizing you because I think that there's a need here. I'm ashamed that car dealers allowed this to happen, right? And I see there's other brokers jumping up and down and trying to do what you do, but you do seem like you have a purpose in in some kind of mission with your company, And I get it because you're playing to the crowd. But I got to ask you, when you talk about direct to consumer, a person with just 3 years in experience, and you're smart, how do you justify saying direct to consumer when you really are not experienced in the car business and that end of it, from what I hear from your experience? Maybe you are, and I apologize if you are, but you getting up on a soapbox saying go directly to consumer and talk about lending things and what's a broker, my advice to you would be stay in your lane, man. Help customers buy cars. It sucks.
Let me nail all your problems. So did I go to my owner and try to fix problems?
Listen, not Tommy. Not one of them is a problem.
Oh, sorry. Let me get all your points. Sorry, let me get all your points. So first off, did I go to my owner and try to fix it internally? Sure. Obviously, I try to do whatever I could to be the best damn finance manager, to be fast and efficient, and I tried to sell things what I believe was an ethical way. What I realized very quick is that if I was going to change this industry, there was no way that I could change the industry from the inside of the building because the problem was the building itself. It's the actual model. So you can't fix this model by being an employee. You have to take a step out and put pressure on the industry. Secondly, first of all, I worked in the dealership for 6 years. I've been running my own business for just under 4 years, so I've had about a decade of experience. I would argue that the first 6 years of experience doesn't give me the experience to have this conversation. I believe the last 3.5 actually running the business model gives me more experience than the first 6. That would be my argument I would make. When it comes down to direct to consumer, my argument would just be simple supply and demand and economics. What industry ever in the existence of the world has ever gotten worse with more competition?
I don't even know what you're saying when it comes to that.
So all I say is that we should get rid of franchise laws. Franchise laws made sense 40 years ago now we have dealership group. There are more American dealership groups on the Fortune 500 list than there are manufacturers. I believe there's an oligarchy as of right now with dealership groups. So when we're looking at this as of right now, I don't believe franchises need protected anymore. They clearly have done well. Get rid of franchise laws and allow the free market to exist. If manufacturers don't do well, they won't exist. But the idea of adding competition, I'm confused on why it takes me, at what level. All I need to understand is the free market, which is supply and demand, and understanding that if I allow competition to thrive, then we will succeed as society. That is 200 years of America has shown.
And I appreciate that answer. Again, I don't agree with it, but I'm not going to debate you because
what do you not disagree? What do you disagree on? You can't just say I disagree.
I'm going to tell you what.
Okay.
I'm going to disagree. You would never know because you weren't at this level. And I'm not saying I'm the greatest car guy in the world. I'm not. I'm just saying I experienced a little bit more in my travels, and you don't need my resume. You could probably tell if somebody's full of shit or not easily.
Yeah. So defend. I mean, defend. No, but you have to defend it here. Like I'm going through. I'm talking about facts.
I am.
Defend it.
So I am. My experience with the manufacturer, right, is they can't do their job at hand. They can't build a good car. They got zillions of recalls throughout the industry. Their products are shit. Let's be honest, most of them, if we're being honest. And they don't know how to run their service end of the business because they got a very, very low rating with JD Power across the board service. What makes you think, Tommy from Delivered, that these fucking knuckleheads that run the factory could get into a dealership and think for a second they could do anything better than the dealer's doing now? It's been tried through a dealer, specialty programs with they would give minorities and low-income dealers a shot, and the manufacturer would be like their co-signer, and they put somebody in a store and it's a manufacturer store. It's dealer development, it's called. And these guys were done in 6 months because the manufacturer has no business selling cars. You got to separate church and state. Some businesses you could get away with it, I agree. But when you have this type of auto industry, you have to separate church and state, and you're 100% correct. The card, I wish I wasn't retired because I believe in what you said, and you're a pretty clever guy. But sometimes you overshoot the runway, and I'm trying to say to you, it comes down to this in the business: facilitation. Here's the breakdown, Tom. You want to help dealers? I'm going to train 1 or 2 middle managers that need to go away anyway. They're not doing jack shit. And I'm going to turn them into facilitators. Because here's what's broken the car business if you really want to fix it, Tommy. It's process, system, customer flow, expectation management. It's not training. Putting people in the right position. For example, Tommy, when you have a customer that comes into the dealership, the first thing I teach my staff, or I did anyway, uncover the customer's purchase position right now. Right this minute. Take them in an office, put the cards on the table. That's why the business is fucked, because you don't need salesmen. You need facilitators, and here's why, Tommy. 52% of the people out in the market right now have bad credit. The other 62% are out of equity, 8 to 10,000. If you don't have a facilitator philosophy, like an emergency room where, all right, I ID'd this guy has credit problems, he's going to the credit guy inside your store. Now this guy's out of equity 10,000, so we got to put him here. What's happened at the car business is we're taking these markets, these situational markets, bad credit and out of equity, and we're telling the salesman, go show him a car. But wait a minute, this is specialty. Now, Tommy, you cater to the other 25%. So you're not going to save the market, Tom, fishing in that pond. You eventually got to get in the acquisition and credit business, at least, because that market you're missing. So there's no way possible and I know you believe it, and I'm not saying you're wrong, I would believe it too. But unless you're an expert in subprime vehicle acquisitions and you are a facilitator, not a middle manager, they're gone. They're a waste. I want somebody who could call a bank and get a payoff reduction. I want somebody who could walk a customer through a credit situation and give them options. There's not a salesman in the country that could do that now. It's not needed. The business is too damaged. You need facilitators, and you have a great business model, dude. But I think you overshoot the runway with things.
Yeah, let's just answer one question super quickly. I'll do 2. First off, Tesla's figured out a lot of the problems, but I won't even use them as an example. Let's just talk about your negative equity situation. Why are we in this negative equity? Why does 62% of people have negative equity currently today?
Greed.
So you're saying dealerships caused a problem, and the only people that can solve it are dealerships. That seems like...
I say dealerships caused the problem, and the only people that could solve them are people that you could show these guys the right way to go. For example, listen, I don't know what your business process is. I think it's really clean, but I don't know. I think 2 things I'm going to let you go that bother me. There's a lot of brokers getting into business because they see you that have no fucking idea what they're doing. Giving customers advice, not doing due diligence, and it's a dangerous thing. I would rather have you, right, point out these guys, right, and then help the dealer by saying, guys, there's a reason I'm here because you guys suck. You dealers suck. You dropped the ball. You got greedy during COVID. You knocked millions of people out of loan value because of your greed, and now you don't know how to do it. But you do. And here's what you do. Facilitators, no more closers, because a car deal's not easy. Tommy, a car deal's easy for you because you take 1,000, people believe in you, and you get them a good price with no bullshit. But what about the out of equity people? You can't help right now because you're not equipped, or you don't want to do it. But you can't say, Tommy, you want to save the car business and ignore 68% of people underwater and the other 52% that have challenged credit. You're not going to save anybody. You're putting a dent in a market that's huge, and I applaud you. Don't get me wrong. I applaud a guy like you, but focus on that and forget about this dream about recreating the car business, sacrifice for a greater good. Listen, you're employing 75 people now. Look what you're doing. I applaud you.
Yeah, I think if you listen to yourself for just a minute, I think you would nail it. It's exactly where I'm at, which I think you make a valid point, which is one business can very struggle to serve a lot of different people. And the idea is Delivered can never serve everybody. That's the reason why dealerships have failed, is because dealerships try to serve everybody and they can't. But dealerships created this problem because of greed. And we've learned that without competition, greed is something that will take over because there's no real competition for the dealership model. So my idea is, rather than just allowing Tommy to try to fix this issue, because I'm never going to be able to fix the issue on our own, why not allow other competition to, why not just open the floodgates for all the competition? Direct to consumer, jump in. Delivered, jump in. Dealerships, jump in. And we all try to solve problems, because what ends up happening... Wait, I'll let you go on for like 5 minutes. I'm gonna go on my little rant, and then you can go back on yours. But like the idea, but the idea behind it is that you're right, that the dealership might have a purpose on helping people that are subprime, and might have people with negative equity, and that's their audience. And the business model for manufacturers might be people that are maybe my current client base, and maybe Delivered goes out of business. But the idea of allowing, because that was the original reason you came on, the idea that allowing competition to come into the market would hurt anything, I think you're hard pressed to have any proof whatsoever.
That's not why I came on, Tom.
Sorry?
But that's not why I came on. I came on to ask you a couple of questions, but like I said, I only give you my opinion. You know, my opinion. Again, when you deal with other brokers, listen, I've dealt with brokers one time.
But again, I'm not a broker, and I'm not gonna speak to every, Apple isn't trying to change every phone company. So I appreciate you telling me to fix brokers, but like I've created my business and I do what my business does. My job is not to fix every other business in the world. I'm trying to fix an industry.
Listen, I know that, but you don't want them to give you a bad reputation either. Some undesirable people that think it's a quick buck because they see what you do and spoiling the apples because they want to rob people. Just like some of the car dealers. So that's all I'm saying. You seem to be the gold standard, I guess. I've been looking at stuff since I've been retired, so this is new to me, but you seem to be that guy. That's why I called you. I wouldn't bother with anybody else. You're the hot guy right now, but even being a hot guy, you're smart. So let me ask you a question. If you were going to open up a hospital today, Tommy, would you have an emergency room, right? When you go into the emergency room, you're identified on what's wrong with you. And then you're put into other categories.
Correct.
You could help them with credit. You could help them with subprime. You could help them with out of equity. But your hospital, Tommy, could only help you if it's a well visit. So what I'm here to tell you is, and try to give you some little viewpoint from somebody who understands how the market works, is maybe you could diversify a little bit, get yourself around a good credit deal and help these other people, because like I said to you before, your mission, you're not going to succeed unless you get real good at sick visits. You're already good at well visits. They're the easy ones, but let's get in the mud. And I'd like to see where your company goes there. If you're really serious about correcting the business, start in that market, that subprime too, and that acquisition market could be really growth for you. And that's where the customers are getting screwed, Tom. You think a guy with an 800 credit score, with a heavy deposit's getting screwed? You really want to help the car business. It's the guy that's getting fucked over by the dealer, taken advantage of, because he's a subprime customer and he's a target. So same thing with a customer out of equity. The dealership body across the country, they don't know how to get somebody out of a $10,000 deficit in their trade, because they don't explain anything to the customer. There's customers overpaying for a car that they already own. They're paying $200 a month more on their car loan that they already have than they should. So I applaud you. I'm going to go because I'll keep you forever. I'm going to keep watching. But like I said, in order to change the business, you got to get into subprime. You got to diversify, Tom. Like I said, a hospital with no heart specialist or head specialist is limited in how many patients they could take. You
Yeah,
know,
I disagree with your notion whatsoever. I actually think, again, as I mentioned before, I think it's the reason why the dealership model is such a horrible model right now for consumers, because they do what every business does, which is gets greedy and tries to serve everybody. And if you're a really
I don't know
smart
why
business,
you're putting me in
one
that
second,
category,
dude, I'm
Tom.
letting you talk. You're not letting me talk. But like
you're putting
when
me in a bad cat, Tom. You're not putting me in the right category. It's not the phone call I made to you, sir.
no,
So don't
but
spin
no, but
stuff
you're
around.
saying no, you are saying that I need to start helping subprime and special credit. That is what you're saying.
No, I'm saying to you that if you're saying you're going to change the car business, Tommy, you really mean it. Which I don't know if you do or not. But if you think for a notion that you're going to change the car business and you're talking about direct to consumer and this dream you have, I support it. But you're not going to scratch the surface unless you get really good at a market category. I mean, Tommy, it's a simple question. Would you rather go into a pond where 75% of the fish are, or go into a pond that are 25%? You clearly chose to fish in the 25% bracket. So don't pretend you didn't. But I'm saying
I'm not saying that, but you're not. This is the problem. You're not
proclaiming,
listening.
Tom.
You're
proclaiming that you're saving the business.
Okay,
Understand the car business first, and then you can save it. I think you're on the right track, but you're not there yet.
You can't be condescending and say, I don't understand. I understand that there is a subprime issue, but I also understand what that issue was created by dealerships, right? Dealerships are allowed to be greedy.
Fix it, Tommy. Tommy, it doesn't matter. Cater to the subprime customer now.
Again, I appreciate you giving me business advice. I think your business advice is horrible and probably why you've never owned your own business.
Yeah, but Tom, I did own my own business. You don't know who you're talking to. I'm trying to
you
help
said you worked at the dealership for X amount of years, but
Tom,
again,
listen, understand this. I'm not here to trade resumes with you. I'm just telling you that I understand the car business more than most people that you're going to ever talk to, son.
But you haven't made a single good point. Like if you are the best of the best of the people, like you've made a horrible point and you won't even listen to my point. You'll just keep cutting me off.
Tell me what horrible point I made.
You made a horrible point. As the reason why the dealership model struggles today is because the dealership model has to serve 13 million Americans every single month. They have to serve the subprime. They have to serve the person that wants to be in and out in 5 minutes. They have to serve the old person that wants to spend 4 hours on there. One business cannot serve everybody. So instead, what makes more sense is to diversify business and allow people to be very good at specialty things. So for example, what I am very good, again, we don't do subprime. That is not what we do, but I've become excellent on helping people who value their time and giving them the best possible experience. The idea behind it is you are recommending I go down the dealership model, which is try to help as many people as possible. But my goal is not to take over every dealership tomorrow. My goal is to put enough pressure on the industry. So let's just say, again, everybody likes somebody with good credit, hypothetically. If I take all of those customers out of the market and the only people dealerships are now working with is subprime, they either get really good at helping people with subprime or they have to adapt their entire business model to put me out of business. That's the idea I had. And I appreciate your idea that like me just trying to take subprime and solving that issue. But this is the other thing. There are other auto car buying advocates. Chase on Dream is a really good example. He saw that I was doing really well with people with good credit. So he created his own business that specializes in subprime. And now we have another business. It's another car buying advocate. I think he's a broker, but that's what he specializes in. Good for him. That's what he does. That's what competition does. If I can't serve the entire market, somebody else jumps in, and it's a good thing that more people are jumping into this industry to solve this industry.
My whole point, though, again, and I'll let you go, but it was great talking to you, but I just want to tell you this, that you're the one that said you want to change the car business. You're not going to change it when you're only marketing to a certain segment. So don't say that. Because you're not saving anything.
Absolutely going to change the industry.
You're helping people buy cars who are able to buy cars anywhere, and they just don't want the bullshit. And that's a great market. But you're not saving anything. You're building a good business, and until you understand what business you're in and how you really want to go about saving the industry and getting better, then you're never going to do what you say. You're going to sell cars, and you're going to get your $1,000 fee, and you're doing some good for people. I say shame on the car business for letting these brokers pop up where they are.
Again, and this is where you're not being genuine, because I've said multiple times I'm not a broker. You keep calling me a broker. Like you're not being genuine.
You are a broker.
I'm not a broker.
This idea that you're not a broker You run the paperwork through where? The dealership, or you
The
print your
dealership
own
runs the paperwork. They handle everything.
Okay, so you're a go-between between the customer and the dealer.
I
Stop
help people.
saying that. Okay? Confront what you are. It's not a bad thing, Tom.
I'm
You're
not a broker. Brokers are people who
what
help
are you, Tom?
I'm a
What are
car
you?
buying agent.
Okay, you're an agent. Okay, you're a sales agent. Okay.
No. I'm going to explain it to you so you can get it. Brokers.
Oh.
This is why people don't like brokers. They help you. You won't dude. I'm listening to you. I'm letting you finish your points, and then you're just cutting me off. Brokers help dealerships sell cars. So that's why they advertise specific inventory. They go through and they actually help dealers sell cars. Why they rely on their relationships and they help dealers sell cars. It's why they're licensed the way they are. Car buying agents take a flat fee and help somebody purchase a car. That is the big difference into today. It's a differentiator that has been made over the last 10 years as this industry started to grow. Brokers help sell cars. Car buying help to purchase them.
Okay, Tom, if that makes you sleep at night, no problem. You're in the middle of the deal. That's what you're in.
But if it helps you sleep at night calling me a broker, what difference does it make to you?
Listen, like I said, I don't care what you think you are or not. I'm not judging you. But like I said, if you're in the middle of a transaction, you're a broker. That's not
how an auto broker is defined.
Oh, I see. Okay, it doesn't matter. I'm just telling you.
It does matter because if you want to go down that route, then you would argue that I'm a dealership, right? Because if you're going to argue that
listen, Tom, all this quick talk and all this stuff is no good for me. I certainly don't know that I know you're not a dealer. I know you're not a dealership. I know that you have a business that's successful, that caught a lot of steam because it's needed. Listen.
But you understand if I had to apply as a broker, I would be a dealership. Like in my state, that's the rule.
You know what else? Let me tell you something else. If I'm a consumer, right, and I'm going to answer an ad for a broker, maybe even you on, the internet, right? You seem to dominate the market share, which is a credit to you, or the market share. The people out there are just stupid. I don't know what's right or wrong.
People aren't stupid. Consumers are very educated.
Let me tell you, I'm not talking about the dealers. I'm going to tell you this, though. I think that the challenge for me to get next to a broker, if I was a purchaser, right, is the dealer has brick, mortar, inventory, insurance. I mean, all kinds of things for security to know that I'm dealing with a reputable company. Was it challenging for you at first, Tom, to get the customer to surrender surrender to you to give you the help you need to help them buy a car? Was it hard to overcome that?
Yeah, I did it for 9 months absolutely for free.
Yeah, but now was the dealer paying you, Tom, on the other end of that?
No, I didn't make any money. I've never taken a dime from a dealer. I did 9 months for free. I ate $90,000 of savings, being able to pay for surveys so I could learn about my client and learn about what made best. I've never taken a dime from the dealer.
Now, let me ask you another question, because it interests me really, because naturally I'm an old dog in this business, and you hate the broker business at first because you're jealous and you're pissed off that you let somebody, into your business. But like I said, the car dealers are dummies. Believe me, they're not smart people. But I'm going to say this to you now: when you sell a car to somebody, right, Tom? Do you
I don't sell a
guarantee
car.
the best price?
That doesn't I need you to I don't sell cars.
All right, but let me ask you this. Semantics aside or whatever.
Not semantics. Selling cars would mean I have inventory and I'm trying to convince somebody to buy a car.
When you do a car deal.
When I help somebody purchase a vehicle.
I'm going to get the best deal for you. You're going to invest $1,000. I'm going to treat you like a king or queen, and you're going to be transparent in this sale. And you got to give me $1,000. Do you tell them that you're going to get the best possible deal?
No, we advertise this is not a money saving service.
Okay. So you're just dealing with people who just don't want to deal with the bullshit at a dealership.
No, I deal with people who want to save time, energy, and anxiety and don't want to deal with the BS 100%. Again, we get them great deals on a car, but I would be a liar if I said I could get you a better deal than you could on your own. Anybody can negotiate a great deal if they're willing to put their time into it.
Well, that's why you have all these followers, because you're obviously right down the middle, honest. So, but let me ask you a question. So you set up a deal, and no trade secrets or anything. You're straightforward, so I'm sure you'll say anything. A trade-in comes up, and a dealer, like say you negotiated with my dealer for $20,000 for whatever, but I have a trade-in. when do you negotiate? I mean, does the deal blow up sometimes because the customer wants more for their trade?
No, we would have offers from Carvana and CarMax already loaded and a few local dealers, and we would allow the client to decide what makes the most sense. We would give the dealer those options, let them know what we need for the trade. If they do, they'll end up giving us their best number, and then we'll help the client make the best decision for them.
And I also want to say this to you too. I think that one thing you said, I loved it, and because I've been watching, like I said, I've got nothing to do most of the day, and other than my grandkids. But I seen that you said you give the local guy the business shot first, and I think that was great. You know, that you call up the local dealer and say, listen, there's an out-of-market customer soon getting out of your market, or you. I think that's great, man. I think, listen, like I said, I'm not trying to give you advice, but the truth is, I'm giving you advice. You're a sharp guy, you know. Just like I said, if you're you're on the right track. So that's all. I appreciate you. I appreciate you letting me talk on here. Sorry I was long-winded. Have a nice day. Thank you.
You too. Bye. Yeah, guys. So I wanna tell you guys just how my business philosophy is and my attack plan for this industry is. First off, I have to get an audience big enough to change an industry, which means I also have to have a good enough reputation so people are willing to follow and trust me. There is so many business owners that are going to do exactly what this guy says. Take as many people's money as you humanly can. Just take them all. And again, we could take a lot more business if I was just able to, but we reject 50% of the people that want to do business with us because they aren't a good client for us. Not everybody needs our service. The idea, the way we're changing this industry isn't just delivered existing. It's raising awareness every single day. It's getting people more and more educated. I would argue that we are to the point where we are educating more consumers than I would argue almost anybody ever has. The amount of views, the amount of people that are going through, that even if we aren't the one to do your deals, you guys are now so educated on this that you know how to negotiate a good deal, that anybody's watching my content. If I can get a hold of every single buyer possible and teach them how to buy a car, and they either use my service or they're educated, guess what? The dealerships have to adapt because it's no longer profitable to be slime. And that's it. We keep educating more and more. And the idea that there's other people doing what I'm doing and I'm terrified and I should be like, no, my job, competition is good. Competition gets us all better. And like I said, I think a lot of them are not the best in the world, right? I'm not really worried too much about the competition. But that being said, there will be a day where I believe a big company, cars.com, Carvana, whatever that is, tries to jump into this field. I do believe a big company is going to try to they're like, oh, this is profitable, makes sense. Boom, I'm going to jump in. What that company is, I don't know. But I believe there will be smart people in this industry. I believe a lot of people in the industry are not that smart. I'm going to say that right now. And like I said, this is one of the reasons I have people up for debates, right? I debate anybody that willing to go through. And I believe a lot of people are not smart enough to be able to think outside of the way the business is done and realize that things can be changed. And I guess I'll say that too. I love these debates. I'm going to keep going, but I do have to go to the bathroom, sorry. But if anybody wants to debate, if you want to jump on, you think you could do better than that guy, by all means. If you believe I'm a scam artist. But yeah, just so you guys know, the understanding the difference between a broker and a car buying agent, I get it because like brokers have dominated the world. Car buying agents are relatively new, but it's really, really simple. If you look at a broker, they are selling very specific inventory. They are helping dealers that they have met with sell their cars. While car buying agents are paid by the buyer to help somebody purchase a car. I'm not like, hey guys, I got a deal for $3,000 off a Telluride if you hire me today. Like that's not how it is. You pay me $1,000, I go help you negotiate a car deal. This isn't semantics or helps me sleep at night. That's just how the laws are currently written. And if the laws want to change, that's great. That's cool, but that's how they're written today. I'm going to give you guys some debate points, but DM me on Instagram if you want to DM me. That was an interesting one. I like it, but I really got to go. Sorry, guys. I'm drinking a lot of water again because I'm trying to. Boom. Or small bladder, I apologize. What are you guys saying about cheesecake? Cheesecake. Okay, guys, I want to keep debating. If you want to debate on here, I'm going to give you guys some points. You guys DM me on Instagram, but just to give you some points on things that I believe in. I believe commission should be abolished from car sales tomorrow and fix a lot of the industry. I believe direct-to-consumer should exist alongside the dealership model. I believe franchise laws should be abolished. I believe that marking up rate should be illegal. I believe that delivered is a net positive for the industry and will change this industry. I do think that's funny. Like, I understand where people are going through. Like, our goal is lofty, but like, I believe it with all my soul that I'm going to change this industry. Maybe I fail. It's possible. It's more likely than not I fail than I succeed. We're trying to take a multi-trillion-dollar industry on. Like, but like, I hate the idea. I was talking to somebody. I will never forgive myself if I don't give it 110%. Because all I care about, like for me, I could profit the heck out of what I've built right now. And what I mean by that is I could start running ads being like, hey guys, this stream is brought to you by Dreo. Dreo is the blah, 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 blah. Like I could start doing stuff like that in order to like get people like excited and all this and let's sell stuff and make a lot of money because people just trust me. I could start selling, the amount of people that want me to sell warranty and Gap, and I just won't do any of that. Like this idea is I want to just change this industry. I make it to the lowest friction for us to make sense, for the business to make sense. I'm going to try to take care of as many people as we can. There's a reason why there's not many companies that are bigger than us. I would argue that we are the biggest in the space right now because there is one thing that you guys haven't seen, and only one other company I can say has run to this point. At a certain level of volume, there is a lot of problems that a business has. And you have to be able to solve that. But like one thing as a business owner, if I give any advice to business owners, is find your audience, find your client base, and serve them to the most excellent way possible. So like the reason why we help the clients we do isn't because that we believe they have better rights than anybody. It's just that's who we can serve at an excellent point. And maybe one day we're able to expand that and go to and we're able to build an entire branch for delivered. But as of right now, we don't have the resources, the man hour. Like it doesn't make sense. And it makes more sense for another business to jump in and take over that space and walk to what we're able to do. It makes way more sense. That's what makes more sense for all of it, is for another business to jump in but just be excellent at serving one customer. Okay. I'm going to call some people. Alyssa, how are we doing? You're not mad at me? Oh, okay. We have. That was an owner. That's insane. That last guy was an owner. Would you guys trust an owner like that? Yeah, I'm going to call this person that way we tried to call earlier that didn't answer. But if you want to debate, come on the stream. Anybody's allowed on, even if you think I'm a scam artist and horrible and you think I should fall over and cry. I don't know.
Hello?
Hi, is this Alexis?
You got it.
Hey, this is Tommy from Delivered. How's it going?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Hey, doing well, man. I think you understand the premise is simple. You can debate anything you want. Anything you disagree with, I'm all here for it. The sky is the limit. Pick whatever you want.
Fair enough. First off, I just want to start off by saying that, I love what you're doing. I think your company is actually like really, really cool because essentially you guys are almost cutting out weeding out the people that essentially don't know what they're doing when buying a car. You guys are kind of helping them out in that side of things, which honestly I love. I think it's really cool. But one thing I'm kind of wondering about is with Delivered, are you guys kind of trying to like cut out the sales side of things when it comes to, like dealing with a car on that end? Kind of like trying to single out just like the salesman in general and just make it more of a commercialized thing?
We are trying to just fix the industry as a whole. I believe there are some people that want to have that consultative approach with a salesperson that's going to walk them through the car and go through 27 test drives. But I also believe there's a large amount of consumers that don't want that experience. My goal is to fix problems for consumers. And if dealerships don't solve it for it, then maybe that's the next field we get into.
Oh, I got it. I see what you mean. So yeah, it's kind of just getting it down to bare bones and just instead of going through all the riffraff of them, trying to actually undercut you or trying to upsell you and everything, just you kind of getting straight to the point, right?
Correct. Yeah, yeah. You know, I always say there's a buying phase and the shopping phase. You know, the shopping phase is what most people actually enjoy on buying a car. It's the test drives. It's going to learn about vehicles. It's watching the YouTube videos. Most people enjoy that process. What most people don't like is the actual buying part. So negotiating the car deal, figuring out the price, going through the numbers. All of those things are what people do. We take over that buying phase for you.
Fair enough. Now, the one thing too is, what do you think about the service industry of a car dealership?
I mean, the service industry is also not the best in the world. Like, for example, I believe it's insane that a licensed or a trained technician can't go open their own shop and do warranty work. It's all done by the manufacturer as a money grab, but that's part of franchise laws. Um, you know, I believe more competition needs to be allowed for people to be able to do their warranty work and be able to do service work as a whole at different industries as long as they're properly certified.
Oh, fair enough. And like, I mean, in your case, right? If you're kind of being like the trusted go-to to essentially, you know, end up creating a deal, in that case, wouldn't it kind of like also, I guess, in a way, kind of tank the sales for the service industry as well? Because I mean, if salesmen can, some are kind of shady, right, to deal with. If they can't be trusted to kind of negotiate a fair deal, how is it possible that you're not getting scammed when you're also going in for a service?
Yeah, I mean, would that stop when cars break down? They need serviced. I mean, like I can't stop that industry. I'm not going to open. I'm not going to open like a service department. Service has to still be done. So, like, even if you don't trust them, like you have to find somebody you trust to do your service work. But service and sales are two completely different businesses.
Yeah, no, I got you in that sense. Yeah. No, because I work in essentially in the DMS where essentially I go through and I essentially I don't work directly with dealerships, but or well I do, but essentially I'm just more on the software side of things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that all you had? Just the questions?
In that case, yeah. Honestly, I didn't have too much else. I just thought it'd be cool to help on the show, but I genuinely you are doing a really cool thing. And honestly, if I ever do buy a car, I think I'll end up talking to you.
Sure. Yeah. Awesome, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Okay, no problem. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Guys, just to be clear, this is a debate stream. I will, if you have questions that want to poke holes and want to poke holes, but we are, anybody who wants to jump on certainly can. All right. I'm trusting my producer that's auditing people. Okay. But if you're in car sales and you want to debate, come on up. Anybody can debate. You just have to DM me on Instagram.
Hello?
Hey, this is Tommy from Delivered. How's it going?
Hey, Tommy, how's it going? It's Chris.
Hey, doing well, Chris. So I think you understand the idea of the stream. You can ask anything, go through any debate, anything you want. So the floor is yours.
Yeah, so funnily enough, the angry owner earlier inadvertently answered a whole bunch of my questions because you explained a lot of stuff to him really well, or a lot of the stuff I was going to bring up.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the points I had was basically delivered. I love what you guys do. I love what you do. But it felt like just a fantastic negotiation service. It didn't really feel like, as far as changing the industry goes, it didn't feel like that would shake anything up because the dealerships are still making a deal, and a lot of the dealerships are happy to make deals with you, and some people are like, hey, if you ever need a car, they want to do a deal with you. So when it comes to shaking up the industry, I was a little concerned about if delivered was the best way to go about that.
Yeah, so the reason why the dealership model and why my deals work is because for every deal that is a delivered deal, somebody is getting screwed over. So like they're happy to do them because they need volume bonuses, and that's part of the way they get volume bonuses, right? So like somebody's getting screwed for every single time that happens. So if we can get a world where nobody gets screwed, dealerships have to adapt their pricing to make sense that there is no more negotiations. Otherwise, if there's negotiations, delivered always exists. But if the majority of, imagine there's a world where people don't even think about dealerships anymore. They end up thinking about just delivered, and dealerships just become a production agency, essentially. They become a manufacturing warehouse. I don't like that solution because it becomes more expensive for the consumer. The consumer has a net ad because they have two middlemen to fix the problem. But I believe that if we continue putting pressure on the industry, more educating people and negotiating, it becomes so unprofitable to run the business in the current way because the majority of consumers are negotiating crazy deals. Let's just say 80% of people that walk through the door negotiate crazy deals. It no longer makes sense to take those deals. So negotiating no longer makes sense. So one price becomes a model that makes more at a price that is competitive, makes more sense.
For sure. And I know earlier you brought up in the stream about getting rid of a commission and all that stuff, and or the commission based business. Is you know more about this stuff than I do. Is there anything that's stopping someone from opening a new car dealership, with all the franchise laws and stuff, from deciding to pay them salary, or is it part of the franchise laws that they have to include those bundles from the manufacturer?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing stopping somebody from opening one today. But I mean, other than franchise laws, makes it really hard to own even like Carvana with all the money they have can only buy one dealership every single year. And they're like trying to acquire them slowly, but they're limited. You couldn't just with all the money in the world, if you had $1 billion, you couldn't just open 50 dealers and start doing that like what you can with most money. With money can solve a lot of problems. Franchise laws have made it impossible to be able to do it that way.
All right. Yeah, and I do apologize for this. Is going to be a little short because, like I said, that debate with the angry guy, you answered a lot of the points I had on through him. So, and I know it was supposed to be a debate, but you answered a lot. The only thing I had left was what do you think as far as the viewers go? What do you think is the best way? Like, I guess we can help the cause of changing the industry.
I mean, like I said, I think raising awareness is the biggest thing. So, as consumer, the dealer as consumers, because the consumers, you just got to keep watching the content, supporting it, doing that, and we're going to keep pushing this forward. As dealers, they need to be more honest. They need to be transparent. I think they need to move to a one price model. I think these are some stepping stones to get in the right direction.
All right, cool. Yeah, that's basically all I had. You're doing a great job, and I really appreciate what you're doing. I love your content. So, yeah, that's basically all I got. So,
hey, no problem. Hey, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Bye. Zach Morris is back. Again, Zach Morris could jump up here. He's up here every day hating on the stream. But again, Zach Morris is what some people would call a keyboard warrior, which he'll type all he wants, but he doesn't want to be proven he's wrong. So why don't I open a dealership? I'll answer your question, Zach Morris, because you're too afraid to come up here, but I'm not too afraid to respond to you. Why not open a dealership? First off, maybe one day we will, but the idea of tying millions of dollars on a franchise that doesn't allow us to open more than one dealership a year or has very limited control, because the dealership model would not allow me, even if I had $1 billion, to open 85 franchise dealers today, makes it not make any sense to try to tackle the industry in that way. If I'm trying to make the maximum impact on the industry, doing it that way doesn't make sense. It's as simple as that. I'm trying to change the industry. I'm not just trying to become and I don't believe dealerships themselves can change the industry. But again, Zach, you could DM me on Instagram. Jump on this. Why not start one? Got to crawl before you walk. Well, many different ways. NADA, I would have to get in bed with NADA. Dealerships would then be able to try to vet and push us out, just like they are Carvana. Carvana has billions of dollars, and they're still trying to get pushed out on a day-to-day basis. You're going through, I'm putting millions of millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars fighting this, rather than just fighting from the inside out. The reason why you want me to start a dealership is that I would have to throw so much money just trying to exist that it would almost be impossible for it to exist. Now, is there a day that delivered as an idea? Sure, but like that's not today. Most dealerships, most businesses aren't going to be able to. Zach Morris, you're really trying. So the fear of failing. Nope, I'm just able to make a bigger impact doing what I'm doing today. You can't fix the industry from the inside. You got to fix it from the outside. But Zach Morris, you're just afraid to even have a conversation, man. Like, you're here every single day typing. And again, I'm calling you a keyboard warrior because you've never once jumped up here. Every week, I allow people to come up here and voice their opinion. You've said I'm a scam artist. You said I'm horrible. There's a million different things. We're having one. You could jump up here and actually voice your opinion rather than being limited to text. But you're a keyboard warrior. You're too. Maybe you're just not that great of a finance. I think you're a finance manager. Maybe you just weren't that good, or you're not that good that you're like a little nervous that the facade gets worn if you can't type. I don't know. I mean, why not just jump up here? But like you're just proving that car salesmen are just really like maybe just you're just uneducated. I don't know. Maybe you're using ChatGPT to respond. I don't know. But it seems like you're scared to have a conversation while you're willing to type on my stream every day. I would debate Car Edge. I mean, that wouldn't be much of a debate. Tommy's Toppy has a family. I mean, the guy's here every single day just hating, saying all these horrible things. Like, one of the reasons why I have this series is somebody like Zach that comes in here every single day and hates and is willing to talk to my entire audience on why I'm horrible. But when I give him the platform to be able to speak freely to everybody and be able to actually voice his opinion, because if Zach really believed in all the things he could come out here and just own me on live, own me in front of my entire audience and prove everything I am. Again, I don't mute people. People talk over me all the time. I kind of shut up when people talk over me until it's 45 minutes in and I want to get a point, right? Like, but like some people are going on for 25-minute rants. You could go 25 minutes and tell everybody why I'm a scam and I'm horrible, but instead you don't. I can speak freely without calling in to be a free advertisement for Tommy. So you're admitting you would just lose the debate. Like, that's what you're admitting. It wouldn't be a free advertisement if I lost. If somebody was that educated that could just own me, thousands of people would watch me just lose. Like, that's what would happen. The recording's live. You could just literally make a video. Tommy gets owned by Zach, some random person. Can I tell you a Honda? No. Otherwise, I'm going to move on. Maybe we'll just ban Zach. I think we banned Zach once and he got really mad. If I remember correctly, Alyssa, didn't we ban Zach once and he got really mad and he started like posting on all my comments? He bans me because he doesn't allow, like, I think that was it. And we just banned him after a while because we unbanned everybody after a while. But if anybody wants to come in here and I guess represent Zach, they certainly can. Okay, I don't want to do the Boeing engineer. I don't know what the Boeing engineer is. You silenced me, yes. Yes, because all you do is come here and complain. And if I give you a choice to be able to give you an audience, what about this, Zach? I will allow you 5 minutes of uninterrupted time where you can say anything you want to my entire audience, and then I'll respond. I'll put a timer on and allow you 5 minutes to say anything. Because I silenced you, I'll give you 5 minutes. As long as it's not anything like where it's going to get the channel banned. He won't take it up because he's afraid. Otherwise, I've said what needs to be said, which is literally nothing, which is why you get muted. I don't mute people, but Zach, okay, we're gonna go through. We're gonna call other people. Mods, if he keeps just hating, then you can just ban him at this point, mute him. I've given him a chance to have a floor. Like, you can't hate every single day, and when you have the opportunity to come up here, you can't have that much of a thought process and then come up here and be like, I don't want to go up there. Okay, I get it.
Please leave your message for 7. Please leave your message for 7.
Okay, Roman didn't answer. Do I want to call the broker? Okay, I'm going to call you, but if you just start advertising yourself, you're going to get just turned down. All if we're having a debate. I want to have a debate when people disagree with me. I'm trying to get you to call in, Zach, because you're the reason this channel, this series exists. Because people hate it so much, I want to give you a voice.
If you record your name and reason for calling, I'll see if this person is available.
Tommy, delivered, negotiation people.
Hello.
Hi, is this Gabriel?
Hey, Tommy. Great to meet you.
Hey, doing well, man. I think you understand the premise here. You get to debate anything you want. So I'll give you the floor is yours.
Okay, sweet. To give you a little background, I jumped into auto sales because I felt like consumers were taking advantage of. I saw that in family. I saw that in friends. After I got into sales, I noticed that wasn't helping the consumer. So I jumped into the auto brokerage industry, and I noticed that I feel like it's getting a bash. I feel like it has so much more potential. You charge $1,000 to the consumer. The brokerage charges $1,000 to the dealership. What makes it any different? It's disclosed. For example, if you were to put that $1,000 over 36 months, please change your payment like $45. If it's all disclosed, why is being a broker so bad?
Yeah,
If
so
you give the consumer an option.
Sure. A few different things. And again, I don't think I don't talk negatively of brokers. I think brokers are the benefit of brokers. You can get a deal much faster than I can because you have relationships. But the general rule of thumb is the person who pays you is your actual customer. So when you're taking $1,000 from a dealership, it limits the amount of dealers you're willing to talk to and the people who are willing to work for you. And if one dealer is willing to pay you $1,000 and another is willing to pay you $500, you're more likely to go for the one that makes $1,000 and then maybe go to the $500 if that one fails. That's the general idea, is that when a client pays me $1,000, I'm only working for them. I take no money from the dealer. When you take money from the dealer, your customer ends up being the dealer, not the person buying the car.
I see that. I guess, yeah, because there's certain dealerships that don't work with brokerages, so it's understandable on that part. But okay, I'll stick with that one. I had another question I wanted to get to. Give me one moment. I'm going to put it up here.
Mm-hmm. That's it? Okay. I mean, that's easy.
Okay, one more question before I let you go.
Sure.
So I guess I just wanted to understand if maybe I should be jumping into a different model because, like I said, I wanted to help people not only save money but save time. So I became a broker because I was like, okay, I can get the pricing for manufacturers and dealerships. They'll give me like $2,000 below invoice, and then they get their bonus. You understand? And then I also get the incentive of being a broker, of course. One second. What if I were to give my client number and then, for example, I'm saying I'm getting $200 for this Toyota Tacoma? What's stopping the client from taking that price and just throwing it back at the dealership? Like, how are you beating that?
I mean, they can. That's why I take my money up front.
You take your fee up front, you're stating?
Correct.
Okay. That's something new.
But I mean, this is why it's easier to be a broker than a car buying advocate, because you're not taking any money from the consumer. So as long as this is why it's just selling cars, right? Because all you have to do is convince somebody to buy a car from this dealership and you get paid. Compared to me, I have to convince somebody to pay $1,000 to me just to be able to work with me. So like the idea that this is why the broker model gets a negative connotation, because it's much easier to get into, and all you are is a glorified car salesman because you're just helping people sell cars. Now, there are benefits, and you're able to work with more dealers, and you can get a better deal with a broker. I'm not disagreeing, but like you also don't know what that broker's motivations are, what they're actually trying to do, because all they're doing is selling cars. And in theory, it could be a good deal, but maybe a dealer that they don't work with, a broker doesn't work with, ends up giving a better deal.
Okay. And after like they, for example, pay your fee up front, are you sharing like, I guess, all the data with them? Like, hey, this is your money factor, this is your residual, these are all the
They get a customer profile page and see all the deals that we're negotiating for them. If it's 10, 20, 30, 40, that's 5, whatever it is. They get to see all the deals we're working with, who we're talking to, and what kind of deals we got.
Okay, understood. But thank you so much for your time, Tommy.
Hey, no problem. Have a great day.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm debating anybody who wants to debate me on the negotiations on anything. I'm going to give some points that you can negotiate on. First off, I believe direct franchise law should be abolished and direct to consumer would solve most issues. I believe commission should be abolished tomorrow in the car industry, and that would fix a lot of issues. I believe markup should be on rate should be illegal in the back office. I believe that delivered is a net positive for the consumer. I believe that documentation fees, the new one, should be illegal. That is a new one that I'm thinking of, and we'll take debates on that one as well. I believe doc fees, or really, we'll call them any fees that are not mandated by the state should be illegal. What else do I believe? I believe relationships mean nothing in the car industry and only benefit the dealer. I believe what else? What else do I believe? And if any of these things you want to debate on or more, I believe delivered solves problems. That I believe it's silly that a middleman has to fix middleman problems. I believe if the dealership model was in any other model, they wouldn't exist without franchise laws. I believe presence is not power, and that's the most BS line in the world. I believe BDC should be abolished tomorrow. I believe sales managers should get abolished tomorrow. I'll go there. I'll go both of them. I believe sales managers are a waste of money for dealerships, and that money should be reallocated. I believe BDC is a waste for dealerships and should be reallocated. Anything you want to debate, you just have to DM me on Instagram. You DM me on Instagram. Ideally, it's people who want to disagree with me. People who disagree with me. People who do not like me. Okay, Roman wants me to call him again. I will try again, Roman.
Hello?
Is this Roman?
Yes, it is. There he is.
Hey Roman, it's Tommy from Delivered. How's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
Hey, doing well, man. I think you understand the premise of the stream. You can disagree with anything you want. You can call me a scam artist. You can say I'm the worst thing since sliced bread. Whatever you do, the floor is yours. Get after it.
Awesome. So I just have a concern about your mission statement of, trying to change the industry. I used to be in car sales, not anymore. I'm in the back office now. But I was just thinking about this. At some point, I feel like you're going to get outspent by, the Cars.com and Edmunds and them when they kind of do wake up and see what you're doing. And then, I feel that they're going to do what you're accused of doing right now, which you're obviously not, but doing kickbacks and working, like back end deals with dealers. I'm just concerned that you're going to be outspent when they do finally start to do your service, but have their ads everywhere. I'm just curious on what your plan is when that does happen eventually, because they're probably going to outspend you in that aspect. I just want to see what you thought about that.
Money solves some problems, but it doesn't create consumer trust. I believe we have a great consumer trust and a consumer platform. People like Cars.com, for example, they're owned by, they're basically a dealership lead generation tool. So the idea, TrueCar is a really good example of a company that couldn't make it because they were basically just employees of the dealership. It's really hard to make an argument that I get paid by the dealer, so I'm now going to serve the consumer. Cars.com would have to flip their entire business model, and the second they have dual interest, you become companies like CarEdge, right? Where CarEdge is taking money from dealers and consumers, and they traded public trust in order to make more money. The second you start taking money from dealers, you end up this being less trustworthy to the consumer, and I just think it would be really hard. Now, is there a world where a Mark Cuban of the world comes in and tries to create his own process? Sure, but I believe building this company, there are so many things that people don't realize that there will be so many hiccups they have that money just can't solve. For example, we built our own software from the ground up that has made it so we can do the volume that we can that most people can't even comprehend. There are certain levels of which you end up running into problems that I don't publicly talk about because, one day somebody will run into a lot of money and will take our business model as an example. And I don't want to give them every answer.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, because my biggest concern, I mean, it's not a concern because I obviously don't own the business, but just what I've been thinking about is let's just say my mom goes online and it's like, hey, I'm gonna buy a car, and she just types some dealership in, and then obviously the like Google ad spend comes up and there's things that are going there before, and let's just say it's cars.com, then some other company, and then you. And obviously she might choose you, she might choose someone else, but then at that point, because I fully believe that you're right, like your model is going to be better, your trial and error is going to be better because you put in the work. The bigger companies are going to make mistakes. At that point, though, how is that different than a dealership that does it the right way, and one that doesn't do it the right way, but they still have that same battle now where they're kind of lumped in, where people call you a broker, but you're not, but they see that as like a 4-letter word with you, where it's like, oh, you do the same thing that cars.com does. Like, that's the part where I don't know if that's going to be detrimental to you enough to where you can't change it, because I'm obviously rooting for you. I want you to change it. But I just don't know how that's going to be feasible when they start making those mistakes and they start having issues. And then it's like, oh, well, he's a smaller version of that. How is that going to work? Because, people trust brands. People trust names they know. And Cars.com has been around for a while. They're more well-known. Or just any of the other brands. That's the part where I'm just not sure if the goodwill and this still kind of niche community that we have here, because I watch you all the time, dude. Like, I love it. But I just don't know if like people that are like, like my mom or my coworkers that really don't know how the new age is, like, if they're going to trust you, and if that's going to make it harder when they start having bad experiences with other copycats.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of different things. So good point. First off, money doesn't solve all problems. And like, for example, organically, we're anywhere between 20 to 30 million views a month. Cars.com they couldn't outspend that ad spend to be able to get that many impressions. They just couldn't do it. The amount of money it would take for them to be able to outview us would be absolutely insane. So sure, they could try, but they have to end up throwing so much money at a business model that it ends up becoming extremely not profitable. If you have to try to do what we have to do we have $0 in ad spend, we do, and you're having to spend $500, $600, $700 per customer, it becomes not profitable at all to run that business, which is why these companies don't want to jump into this field. There's a reason why this has not been super profitable. So they have to build an organic platform. This organic platform isn't something that's built overnight, and you'd have to be able to build a platform that made enough sense. And Cars.com has some trust, but I don't really believe it has that much consumer trust, that people just don't have any other options. It's like, okay, that's my third-party source, but nobody looks at Cars.com like, oh, they're the truth. Cars Guru is the truth. It's just a search engine tool. So I believe that we have enough customer trust, and we'll continue to have customer trust, that the 20 to 30 million views a week or a month will end up turning to 40 to 50 million views. And now we're talking about, I would imagine in 2 years' time, I'll be shocked if your mom doesn't know who I am or hasn't heard of a Delivered or the car buying service, because that's like the reality we're in. Like, more and more people are knowing who we are. More and more people are understanding the service. More and people understand and recognize that it exists because we're getting so many views, it's hard to ignore.
Word. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's all I had. I just, I hope you're right, because I really want this to change, because I see everything from the back end. So, I just see numbers and numbers and numbers, but I really hope you're right, because I really think this is a really good thing, and I wish you the best with the rest of your debates.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
Bye.
Bye.
Really want somebody to debate me. We got Tyler. You know what? I've always heard Tylers are good debaters. Let's go to Tyler.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging.
I call the right one? Let's make sure.
Hello?
Hey, is this Tyler?
Yes, it is.
Tyler, it's Tommy from Delivered. How's it going?
Yo, Tommy, what's up?
Hey, man. I think you understand the premise of the stream. You can disagree or debate with me on anything that I say. If you need some topic points, I can give you some. Otherwise, you can pick anything you want. I won't cut you off. I'll allow you to speak. The floor is yours.
Yeah, so first off, wanted to say, huge fan, love your videos. I usually watch them on my commute to and from work. And I agree with your business model. I love what you stand for. I love how you do it. The only thing that when I listen, I've been in the service department for 10 years now. I'm now the service manager. So the direct to consumer, that is the part that I just don't see happening, at least anytime soon, as fluently as you think it would happen. In regards to, like, you've made the comment before, again, I listen to a lot of your videos, I watch a lot of them, of the dealerships being so willing to cut off that new vehicle franchise and then offer to service, prep, maintain, do any dealer add-ons or anything to these direct consumer vehicles. A, because I would see a loss of revenue there. B, a lot of, because, front end of used or new cars isn't crazy. All that loss of potential and profit on the used car trades, because I know in the sales end of things, those can be a huge moneymaker. So I wanted to kind of more or less hear, because I don't really have the emotional, a negative attachment to it because I'm not in sales, but I wanted to see how you thought that would really go realistically.
Yeah, so I don't believe that dealerships should go away. I believe direct-to-consumer should work side by side. So the idea that service centers would cease to exist and things like that wouldn't happen. They'd still be able to take in used cars. Yeah, it would just be side by side. So direct-to-consumer would work alongside with the dealerships. Could still sell new cars if they wanted, but so could manufacturers.
So sometimes I hear, sometimes I hear that stance. Sometimes I think, I hear more when you're emotional, you saying, listen, dealerships aren't going to survive. They'd be out. They wouldn't be in business. Everything else. I
believe in their current state. If direct-to-consumer existed and they didn't adapt, they would cease to exist.
Now, do you really think that dealerships would be inclined to work with the direct consumer the way they would need to in service? Because listen, I'll tell you this. Can't tell you the countless cars that either they have dead batteries on delivery, they get dropped off by transport, they're damaged, accessory add-ons, just random weird issues from the start. That I know you use Tesla as a comparison a lot. Tesla kind of built their whole brand and they started from the ground up with the right bones of how they know they wanted to proceed versus, 60, 70 years of the dealership model, trying to change that overnight. I think it's a little bit of a not as direct comparison because you're talking about multi-giant corporations that have been built and ran one way for countless decades versus a business model that in relatively smaller scale that's built up from the ground, knowing exactly what they wanted to accomplish and build it that way.
Yeah. So could first off, I believe if you get rid of franchise laws, dealers don't have a choice. But you're right, the businesses have to cooperate. But super simple. I'm Toyota. Dealership says I don't want to do any of your work. Okay, that's great. Fine. Yeah. We'll no longer send warranty claims to you. We won't pay you for warranty claims. We're actually going to allow every single one of your techs, because they're all certified through me, I'm going to send them a letter and I will help fund them to open their own shop to do all the warranty work, and I will take that entire business side away from you. The thing is that most dealerships, if I gave a dealer an owner and said, hey, I will take new cars off of your plate completely, but I will still give you all of their trades and I will allow you to service all of those works, plenty of owners would jump on that opportunity to get rid of new cars and be out of that rat race.
Yeah, I like that. I'd never heard you elaborate more on the trades end of things there, so that's super cool. My other thing, more or less with that, I don't see any technicians being able to up and run, a repair center and do warranty claims. The back end of warranty, I'm sure as you know, in the finance end of things is pretty crazy. I think we're talking that's a little bit of a stretch, especially in the short term. Maybe a very, very well qualified independent chain that direct to consumer could work with, and then eventually train on to do factory trained repairs and have access to dealer tools and service information and stuff of that nature. But no, like again, more or less, I was just trying to call to get your perspective on things in that regard, because there's so much things in the back end. I'm like, man, I just don't see that going smoothly without any cooperation from the existing service centers, because there's so much work that they do on the back end.
How much money do you make on warranty work right now? If I took all of the warranty work away from you tomorrow, let's just say instead let's just say I don't open this, I just bring it to the dealership down the street.
Yeah.
Your competition, hey, but your competition's willing to work with me, so I'm willing to give them all the warranty work, and you're no longer certified to do any warranty work with me. How much money does your business lose overnight?
Oh, for sure. That was my question, more or less, is why would the dealership still be inclined, whether like universally, if everything was going to be lost on that new car end of things. But like you said, if they do things as in, they get the trade, maybe there's some sort of kickback for helping with that delivery. Maintaining batteries is such. I work in the Stellantis branch, and we're actually a very, very successful Stellantis dealer, but we do have units that can sit for a long time, and the amount of staffing and energy it takes to start these vehicles weekly, maintain the batteries and everything else is pretty crazy. So I can't imagine trying to set up an operation like that overnight.
Yeah, I'm not saying it overnight, but there's plenty of methods that make sense. But most dealerships aren't going to run the risk of losing their service work just to like prove a point on getting rid of a business model that if they could get rid of, they probably would.
As long as the money makes sense, because like you've always talked about, there's a lot of manufacturer kickback and money that dealers get on the new car end of it. If that was still able to be added in a way that makes sense, I do agree with you there. Mm-hmm. On your other point on relationships don't matter, what do you really mean by that? I heard you say it, and I just wanted to.
You're cutting out there, but why do relationships don't matter? I don't believe relationships have any benefits to consumers. I don't believe you gain anything to have a relationship with your car salesman. And I would argue that I haven't found anybody to give me a point on what do I gain to have a relationship with my salesperson.
Understood. I guess I think more on the sale or the service aspect of it, where obviously, a repeat sale or service customer will obviously, give priority to either maybe getting into the shop or getting into a loaner or try to prioritize that vehicle. In sales, I can agree with that. I believe I was more approaching that with a service mindset to it, where we really do try to take care of the people that take care of us. And I'm sure in sales they do it in a way, maybe special units and things like that. I know, like when we get like a TRX or an SRT Durango, the person that gets that, if you have a person that's never serviced or purchased through us versus somebody that has multiple vehicles through us, I mean that would be a benefit that I would see.
Yeah, I mean, and what I would argue is that there's plenty of dealers that also disagree with that and are willing to sell it to the highest bidder. And, and if I came to your dealership and I had no relationship, but I'm willing to pay $30,000 above MSRP, are you really going to still reject me because I don't have a relationship?
Well, I don't think that's good. I think.
No, but let's just say I'm willing to. Let's just say as a consumer, I come in, I say, I will pay $30,000 over MSRP. Are you going to say, you know what? We don't have a relationship with you. I appreciate the money, but we're going to say no.
Yeah. So on the contrary to what I was thinking and what my argument against the franchise laws, and I was curious what your thoughts and how you think this could or couldn't work. If there was a way to truly regulate dealers to just like at whatever that fair market is, if that's MSRP, if that's decided by the market, and have a universal pricing structure like any other giant corporate. Like I know people said Best Buy and TVs, and I know like you said, cars aren't TVs, yada yada yada. Do you think something like that could work, and is it possible to enforce, whether it's via audits or surveys or things of that nature on the sales end of things?
No, the dealership model over the last 100 years have proven that it can't be self-regulated. There's no way, and the amount of enforcement isn't going to make sense. The reason why Best Buy's TVs work is that you can buy a TV from Best Buy, Walmart, Target, Amazon, or Samsung, right? I have so many different options of where I can buy the TV, and it's easily tracked. All I can do is buy it from dealership, or dealership. So it makes it next to impossible. So the easy part is the reason why that model works is there's lots of different sources for it. The second you allow the free market regulates itself very well. Trying to have the government try to fix every issue normally only allows inefficient things and costs more to the net consumer.
That makes complete sense. I was more or less thinking on the pricing end of it. I believe that you would have some decision there and some option from dealer to dealer, but more or less universal pricing, because I see so many times where you're fighting back and forth with all these different upcharges and everything else, that if there was just a true fair market value, because you sometimes say the thing, dealerships don't deserve a profit. And again, I don't
they're
think
not
that
entitled to a profit.
entitled to a profit. But what makes Best Buy entitled to a profit?
They're not entitled to a profit either.
But you have to. I mean, you can't negotiate with Best Buy.
No business in America is entitled to a profit. You have to earn a profit.
I guess that makes sense, but you don't get the I'm sorry, my wife's blowing me up.
You're good. If you need to answer your wife, man, you can answer your wife.
Yeah, I might have to hop off, Tommy. She's called me a few times. Listen, I want to say I really appreciate you having me on. Hopefully, I'm not looking at the chat because I'm driving. Hopefully, chat's not flaming me up too much. I love what you do. We're obviously going to continue watching you, and I appreciate you taking the time to go back and forth with me.
Okay, man, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Have a good one.
Bye. Somebody asked, how did Best Buy earn it? Normally because they have the cheapest price or they had it in stock. Like, there's your answer. They're selling a product, not a service. So they ended up having the cheapest pricing. They had the car and they made it efficient to buy it. But even then, it doesn't mean they earned a profit. They earned a sale. And that sale doesn't even mean they're profiting. You understand that Best Buy sells things at loss. Like, this isn't a crazy concept. Somebody says, I'm ready. I'm ready. Do we have anybody else that wants to come on and debate? If anybody wants to come on and debate, they certainly can. And car dealers don't. No. Debate anything you want to debate on. Is Zach ready? He has to DM me. You think every deal is a home run? I didn't say that at all. That's not the point. It doesn't mean they're entitled to a profit. Every car they could sell could be at a loss. And that doesn't mean they're entitled to a profit all of a sudden. Profit is something that is earned. It's not something you deserve just because you owned a business. I'm ready for someone. I want somebody to come in here and make an actual opinion. I want somebody to disagree with me. Somebody to disagree with me. I want somebody to make a good debate point. I give you guys so much fodder. Does Tommy have relationships with his customers? Do I personally know? Do I have a few customers that know me and talk to me? But I'm not in the day-to-day as anymore. But like, we don't advertise like the reason you should hire us is the relationship. We have you should trust us because you're paying us to trust us. But if you don't trust us, don't hire us. I have a normal person who says they want to debate on how customers have the responsibility to be educated. I don't believe customers should have to be educated. I think that's insane, but I can disagree with you on that. But DM me on Instagram. Or Facebook, I guess. But, okay, I'll debate the person that believes consumers should be educated, because I disagree with this. I believe the consumer shouldn't have to be educated to get a good deal.
Hello?
Hi, this is Tommy from Delivered. How's it going?
Hey, Tommy. How's it going?
Hey, doing well.
Right.
Okay, so I hear you said you want to debate that you believe consumers have a responsibility to be educated.
Yeah, in short. And so I think the first thing I'd just like to say is that I think we both agree that dealerships can be underhanded, misleading, confusing, all of the adjectives on that front.
Sure.
Where I think we diverge in our thought process is that ultimately the consumer has the responsibility to do their due diligence. So no matter what you purchase, that's kind of the responsibility. You're going to buy a TV, you're going to check out the models, the features, everything like that. same thing with a car, and this is a larger purchase.
Mhm.
So using the excuse of, oh, they don't know how things work, they don't have all the information of the dealership, there's ways that people can learn, not as much as a dealer per se, but that they can educate themselves on the process, what they're going to experience, how to get in and out, how to research pricing, how to research the models and the features and come educated. You know, you provide this kind of stuff. There's lots of other places on the internet to find this. So I just think that ultimately the due diligence falls to the consumer, even though there is this environment within the car dealership that they have the kind of monopoly that you have to go to them. You don't have to go to one dealership. There's many dealerships you can go. There's many models. And then the last point I'll make is that when we're talking specific to the new cars, with a new car, that's a luxury purchase, whether it's a Toyota Corolla or it's a Bentley. Now, if you get into the used car market, then I think there becomes a little bit more nuanced because that can be considered a purchase that is a necessity.
Yeah,
I'll let you go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't agree that I believe a consumer should be educated. Now, them buying the wrong product is different than overpaying for a product. And what I mean by that is if we both go into Best Buy the same day and buy the same TV, we're both going to pay the same price no matter our education level. You could have done all the research in all the world and looked at every single TV possible and spent 72 years doing research on TVs. And I can walk in, don't even know what an LED TV is. We're both paying the same price for the TV. That's the difference. Now, you can make an argument that you should be educated on the model that you're buying, and I don't disagree with that at all, but the price should be the same.
But if you go to Best Buy or you go to Walmart or you go to Costco or you buy off of Amazon, you could have the same TV or a very similar model with slightly different features, kind of like how vehicles go, and you could pay a different price depending on the day of the week or depending on which store front or store location you went into.
1000%.
That's no different than a car dealership.
Incorrect. If both of us, you're talking about 5 different businesses selling a product at 5 different costs for X reasons, compared to one business selling the same product on the same day for 2 different costs, the same exact item. I don't care if 2 businesses want to compete with each other and one is cheaper than the other. That's the free market working at its best. But like if we both walk into the same Best Buy and buy the same TV on the same day and we pay a different price, now I have a problem.
But so let me ask you this. If you do, let's say I go in to Best Buy and I just say, I want this Samsung TV and I pay that price that's there. If you, on the other hand, go and do your due diligence and online you're able to find a coupon code and you're able to get $50 off that $1,000 TV, you paid a different price because you did due diligence, correct?
Yeah, but we're talking about a coupon that anybody has accessibility to compared to a market where pricing is going to change. I might have a meeting that I might need to jump
everyone
on.
have accessibility to?
Yes, the internet.
To negotiate?
But again, it's not negotiating. You're talking about a $50 coupon that somebody's price matching somebody else's.
But it's 2 people paying a different price. One person did the work, the other person didn't.
But we're not talking about we're talking about a coupon that's readily accessible that anybody can find.
But anyone can find information on the internet when they go to a dealership.
No, but you still have to negotiate. Like if I bring him that coupon, you still have to. Okay, I don't know. Okay. Okay. Again, my argument is made that if I find the coupon, everybody gets the price, no debating. If I go and try to say, hey, I found a price cheaper down the road to another dealership, they're going to argue with me. Okay, I gotta jump off, guys. I'm sorry. So sorry to jump off this early. I've got a meeting that I've got to go jump on, guys. I didn't realize I still had that, so I'm gonna go jump off that. We will be live tomorrow where we'll make some phone calls. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Talk to you guys all later.